Yes, Saturday night football is back. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Wacker Ground here in Perth for what should be a mighty clash between the Fremantle Dockers and North Melbourne on this very special Anzac Day. In fact, they commemorated Anzac Day at this ground just a short time ago with a special ceremony and a number of people involved in this Spirit of Freedom program, and very moving too as they moved around the ground to the applause of this crowd, remembering the diggers and those that gave their lives for us to be here today. A very emotional day right around the country. The nurses involved as well as the men. This is their day.
Is on display at the Australian Army Museum in Fremantle. This year, the Fremantle Dockers have invited...
This is the second year that the Dockers have become involved with this program, and they hope to continue this Anzac Day tradition, just as in recent times it has been between Essendon and Collingwood in Melbourne. Well, this is to be the Dockers Day here in Perth. A giant wreath, and then the flame lit at the top of the stand by this young girl. And everyone here at this ground tonight remembering the Anzacs.
The 1998 AFL Premiership season brought to you by Telstra, making life easier. Victoria Bitter for a hard-earned thirst. Cadbury Mark of the Year. And McDonald's Family Restaurant.
So just about set to go here at the Wacker. It's a perfect night to use Dipper's phrase for football, and joining us behind the microphone, Dennis Cometti, who is preparing himself there with Lee Matthews, two legends of the game. And they'll be bringing us the call very, very soon. So I hope you're going to have a good night with us here at the Wacker for this big clash. The Fremantle Dockers up against North Melbourne.
Just come on in, 'cause we've got it all. The crowd is pumped and we're ready for some football. The big game is coming your way. The rest of the nation.
Big crowd here tonight at the Wacker. Docker fans will be hoping their side can continue their impressive form they showed against Essendon last week. North Melbourne, on the other hand, have a perfect record against this side. 3 times they've met. 3 times the boys from Arden Street have been successful, but it's all coming away shortly right here on 7. In the meantime, let's go down to the ground and our official Anzac Day Master of Ceremonies for this game, Dave Christensen. Dave.
Ladies and gentlemen, could we ask you now all please to rise, turn to face the eternal flame and the Australian flag at the Trinity end of the ground for the playing of the last post, followed by the observation of a minute's silence and then reveille. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand and face the eternal flame. they shall grow not old, as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun and in the morning, we will remember them, lest we forget. Ladies and gentlemen, the national anthem tonight to be sung by Addie Grummett.
Australians, all let us rejoice, for we are young and free, with golden soil and wealth for toil. Our home is girt by sea. Our land abounds with nature's gifts, our beauty rich and rare. In history's page, let every stage advance Australia fair. In joyful strains then let us sing, advance Australia fair.
Thank you, Addie. Ladies and gentlemen, please thank everybody involved in tonight's tribute, and thank you for your tribute to our Anzac veterans.
Dave Christensen, the master of ceremonies, on the ground. Both sides split up now and prepare for this all-important clash. No changes, Lee, that you've been able to ascertain?
Sides as selected, Sandy.
It's a touching moment too, with several of the Anzacs out in the middle in the Jeep to officiate with the toss of the coin. Wayne Carey, Peter Mann. And now, good evening to Dennis Cometti. Good evening, Den.
Hello, Sandy. Great night, great crowd. It's a great match. It should be. Fremantle coming off some of their best form in quite a while last week against Essendon and Waverley. Very impressive. A good side in tonight. They've got their best forward and their best defender back in. Kickett and Waterhouse, of course, up against one of the powerhouses of the league.
Let's have a look at these lineups, Lee, and the Dockers very pleased to have Stephen O'Reilly coming through.
Well, yes, he's their best tall defender, and with potential height in the North Melbourne forward line, it's important that he has come up. Parker's back at centre-half back. They haven't got a great deal of height in the defensive part of the ground, so it'll be interesting to see how Gerard Neesham copes with the North's tall forwards. I guess it's a case of height versus speed and mobility, so if the Dockers defence can spoil and run, well, they'll bring him out.
A little bit being said in the middle already. As we have a look at this lineup, there's some pushing and shoving going on in the centre.
And the North Melbourne selected lineup, but Corey McKernan is selected at full forward, and looks like actually playing there as they're lined up, but there's plenty of feeling. Looks like Wayne Carey will start at centre-half back, as he has for the last couple of weeks.
I think it was the side of the Jeep, Sandy.
It's Peter Mann, Jason McCartney. Quickly down to the boundary line, and a welcome to our boundary rider for the night, Adrian Barrage. Barrage.
Thanks, Sandy. What a build-up. Just magnificent atmosphere down here. Just a couple of things. A huge crowd, balmy night. No breeze at all. The centre wicket area very slippery, though. They've watered it for some reason. We're in for a big night, boys.
Well, let's hope we don't see Sachin Tendulkar here then. Here we go. The game's away with North Melbourne winning the toss and kicking to the left of screen. The Dockers away to the right, and trying to get it out in the middle was Fletcher. He didn't get a touch, but they push it up towards Peter Mann, who's playing his 100th game. Played 39 with North Melbourne. Back towards the centre wing and pushed over the line for a throw-in. A lot of feeling, a lot of pushing and shoving going on early. As you would expect, big game for both sides.
McKernan at full forward, Scholl at centre-half forward at the moment.
Burton looking to hold front spot over Capuano. Kick it in the thick of things. Capuano goes once, twice, trying to sock it off the ground, kick it in over the top. Stevens was at the bottom, he got it out, but there had been a whistle.
Carey in defence.
He's played there the last 2 weeks, actually. It's amazing. Probably the best centre-half forward ever, in my opinion. Just a magnificent player, but he's played centre-half back the last 2 weeks, and he's lined up there for the third consecutive game.
Bounce up towards half forward then for North. Storming through is Fletcher, very impressive. Second possession, wobbles it down towards half forward for his team. Carey hurriedly onto the boot, Capuano on the wing. Adrian Fletcher averaging 26 possessions a game so far this season. Capuano down towards centre half forward. Archer threw himself at the ball, couldn't complete the mark. Park is in there wrestling with a teammate, Harding. And a whistle just inside the 50.
Heath Black, Dennis, is joining us on the boundary line tonight. Well, near it, he's in the outer. Heath, overcoming a groin operation. Welcome to what should be a big game.
Yeah, thanks very much.
What's your feeling?
Oh,
Been with the boys?
Yeah, I wish I was out there to tell you the truth, but it's just looking around, it's a great atmosphere, and surprised seeing Carey in the back line.
Here's Dale Kickett coming towards Norris. He can move it down towards centre wing. He takes on Anthony Stevens. Big call. Bond is there to give him assistance. Came in with Chrissy Bond tonight and he said, so this is the Wacker. Never played here before. Where do I go? He's in a spot of bother at the moment, but he eventually gets his kick up towards McManus. It could be down the ground.
I think it'd be a high tackle, Sandy. They're playing it down the ground. I would have thought it was just a high tackle as he was kicking the ball.
So the lead is on. McManus goes into the pocket and Clement finds himself in front of Martin. Peter Mann is there as well, and the umpire just having a word with him. And in the meantime, James Clement, who booted 5 last week, and Kevin Sheedy was singing his praises of this man up forward.
Yes, well, he's promising because he has got a bit of speed and zip about him, Dennis. He's not only a marking player, he certainly has been a bit of a revelation, come out of nowhere to be a 10-goal goal kicker over the last 2 games.
Very good on the lead, isn't he?
Tight angle. From that pocket, he's a right footer. Oh. Gee, that's a good kick. Very good kick from that position, but one behind only. The crowd were willing it, but it wasn't to be, Dan.
Interesting story. 5 goals last week, 5 goals the week before. Before that, he played for his club team locally, coming off injury, had 1 kick for the afternoon. So you could say the selectors gambled prior to the derby. He's come up trumps. Pickett, straight down the middle of the ground. Carey from behind Burton. Rock roving the pack, nicely done inside the centre square. Boots towards half forward. Scholl launches himself. Parker kept his feet. Down towards half forward, Bandy in space, 65 metres out he was going. No, the umpire lets him stay. So Bandy just outside the 50. Dodd is on for the short one, ignores that Bandy and heads for home. Long kick down towards full forward, push in the back, surely.
Well, they've been letting many of those go. I mean, just the last couple of weeks, they've been allowing a lot of pressure from the player in the back position, but I think that was a correct decision.
We're not tonight, Lee. Back towards half forward. The Dockers, that is. Burton's in the road. He's marched about 60 metres out. Burton for space. Pickett getting across, not in time. Parker drops the mark there. That's Daniel. Kick it, quick hands away. Waterhouse back in the team. 45 metres out. Got 5 in round 1. Hits the post in round 5.
The early attacking being done by the Dockers. 2 behinds on the board. Byron Pickett bring it back into play. Saturday night football coming away on 7. Hope you enjoy it. Pickett comes towards Carey. The Mantis, as they call him, was with him. Bandy affected the spoil. Stevens, the tackle, too high. Fletcher to take it. Between centre wing and right half forward, Adrian Fletcher in game number 157. Again heads towards Clement. Martin is there with him. Shannon Grant heads towards the boundary line. He was held after he'd got rid of the football, and he'll take the free kick in the back pocket. Grant swings it in towards half-back. McCartney. He's got Capuano going past, uses him now, kicks down towards half forward. Good strong mark taken by Abraham. He'll be keen to impress tonight. They have long memories. Winston Abraham in towards the pocket. Archer uncontested.
Yeah, that was a bad matchup, but Norwich has got caught on Archer just at the moment until Fremantle get a chance to reorganise their defence, and any kind of high ball, Archer, a very good medium-sized marking player, and Norwich really completely wrong-footed, didn't have much idea how to affect the spoil or actually get his hands on the ball first.
So Glenn Archer has the opportunity of giving North the first goal of the night and the 4-point lead. Kicking from 25 metres, 45-degree angle. He makes no mistake. Oh, they're on the board.
Yes, one of the those utility players in the North Melbourne side. Glenn Archer sometimes plays forward, sometimes plays back. There's a bit of a theory that he rarely kicks goals as a starting forward, that his best work in the forward line has been when he's sparred in defence and actually been pushed forward as the games develop. But certainly a very dangerous player. He kicked 83 goals in 121 games, so pretty much a bit part goal kicker, not a regular high numbers contributor.
So an interesting mix as far as the Dockers are concerned. Kickett's on a wing playing on Grant. And they're prepared to stay with Norrish on Archer. Rucks go at it. Capuano knocks it down. Kickett slickly away. Hurriedly by Fletcher. It wanders out towards right half forward. McManus missed it. Not so Scott. Picks it up. Too hot for Hewitt. Socket off the ground by McManus. Taken by Bell. Another former Docker. Through the wing. Strong mark in front by Welsh. Came hard at that one. Welsh right on the wing then. Side up by 4 points, wants to go and does. Probing kick inside the 50. Spider goes back, fisted away by O'Reilly. Waiting in front, Callahan to kick it. It's hot. Kick it. Well, interesting kick out towards half-back flank area. Coming through is Harding. The second time, gathers the ball. Got it to Bond. A high floating kick. Good enough. Fletcher on the end of it. Runs away from half-back. Takes his time. A centering kick. 2-on-1. Relayed free kick down the ground. It'll be taken by the Dockers. Pickett thinks it's his. Sinclair, I think, has to come back and take the kick eventually. Pickett there opposed to two Dockers. The first time this week the Dockers have battled with a Pickett as the ball goes inside the 50, and going back strongly and taking a very good mark is Blakey. What great courage down there. Plays on immediately. And this is Scott going across the ground, having to work, hitting the ball hard is Carey, hitting Callahan hard was Carey, and the ball spills out of bounds.
That's good play. I was going to say, Dennis, good play by Callahan, wasn't he? Because Carey was going to mark the ball. It was great courage.
Just a question for Heath Black down on the boundary. Heath, did I see Stephen O'Reilly doing a fitness test before the game out on the ground?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was. I don't know too much about that, but by the looks of it, he was just trying to get warmed up because he did last week have a lot of problems with cramps in his lower back region.
Yeah, thanks, Heath. In fact, we saw him on AFL today going through that warm-up motion and a bit of a test, and obviously coming through it.
Most unusual.
Norwich. I'm still getting over Pickett in the dock as well, done. So early on, too.
Oh, I had to get it out.
I know. Wills is on. I'm sure he'll come up with something there. North go down towards Archer once again. Beaten this time. Good mark taken by Harding on the last line.
And that was interesting. Harding has gone back onto Archer. You'd think really the Fremantle defence should have worked that out for themselves, but Harding has got the size to match against Archer, and at the moment Norris is back, got moved up forward on Welsh.
Oh, Wills has snuck out the back door. Dropped a hard one after he got rid of the ball. Winston's a bit pumped, and it'll be down the ground. And it'll be taken by Bandy. He's on centre wing. Wills is covering enormous territory. His namesake then.
Well, he wanted that, Wills, didn't he? He ran to make himself available about 3 times, and eventually he just couldn't quite get to the space behind Blakey, and Blakey's held up that move.
And here is John Blakey. Back towards Abraham. Now, he's got to beat a couple. Bond will be the effective spoiler from behind. He does, down towards Dodd. Again, he copped a hard one, and again, Blakey takes the mark. Oh, Winston is very keen to impress tonight against the old side. So Blakey defends to Scott. Roberts, Scott up towards centre wing. A couple of North Melbourne boys can raffle this. Simpson in front. Kicks towards half forward. Carey receiving plenty of attention. Parker waits down at half back. Hand pass was interesting, but they might be able to get away with it. Norrish on the end puts Dodd under enormous pressure. Loses it. Pickett is there for North Melbourne. Sockers it out of the hands. Callahan will be first to it on the outer side. And Callahan will clear.
Kicks it down towards half forward. Daniel Parker hands to it. Couldn't hang on. Gets the crumbs though. 75 metres from goal. Centering kick out in front. Clement. Full-chested at that one. He's very good, as we said earlier, on the lead. A lot of toe. And Martin left in his wake.
It was good instincts, really. He found the space to move into. That's the important part as a forward upfield, to move to usable space and to where the kicker can reach you. No use rooting into a kicker's blindside, but Clement a couple of times has been able to fulfil both those obligations and it's marked twice.
Goal here for the Dockers to lead by 2 points. James Clement, question of accuracy, and it's not there. He sprays it right, sneaks it in for a behind. North Melbourne lead by 3 points. The early going opening term, Anzac Day, Saturday night football. The WACA ground, North Melbourne bench. Some experience and some youth there. In the foreground, Anthony Rock. Anderson, Brady Anderson, who played in Western Australia last year, also on the bench to start. Here's Fletcher to kick it. The hand passes on, but he took too long. Gets away though, Dale Kickett. He's at right half forward. Kickett about 5 metres in from the line. Centering effort. McCartney knocks it away. Bell camped in front. Slick hands. Nicely done. Back to McCartney. Gale almost slaps it to a voice provided by Wills. Good enough. Wills is in trouble. Carey got him. Found the loose ball. The defensive side of the centre circle. Boots it down towards half forward. They cleared out the forward line. McKernan came up. He was the meat in the sandwich. Hewitt knocks it goalward. Gale is going back. Bond sockers it off the deck. And that will do it. Cross the goal face and out of bounds.
Down to the boundary line, Adrian Barrett.
Sandy, before the game, the Dockers were expecting Winston on the half-forward flank and Wayne Carey at centre-half forward. Well, that's now happened. After the first 10 minutes, they've gone there. And Bond's got Abraham with a full-on tag, and Carey's gone to centre-half forward on Mark Gale, which is a bit of a surprise.
Adrian Barrett, our boundary rider here at the Wacker ground tonight. From the throw-in, North looking for the free kick for holding. Archer plays on. Glenn Archer snaps. Has put through behind.
In fact, what is happening, it's just that Carey and Capuano are swapping ruck and centre-half back because Bandy, a ruckman-type forward, is playing on Carey. Carey is just drifting up as the ruckman, and Capuano is just going back to cover him on Bandy. So Carey, in fact, is not quite playing centre-half forward or centre-half back, just somewhere in between.
Shane Parker playing his 50th game tonight as they're giving it to Shannon Grant, who gives it to Robert Scott. Danger signs here again, but they're able to tidy up with Callaghan on the last line of defence. He gives it away to Harding. Harding comes back towards Wills, who's got a twist and turn. He almost stole it again, did Wills. North, however, have the numbers, and it's Evan Hewitt. Pumps it high, in towards full forward once again. Good mark taken on the last line of defence by O'Reilly. Well, he's the captain of the defence, and he goes to Harding, just tucked in the back pocket. Over the top towards Dodd. Again, proppy hand pass. Leaves the youngster under real pressure. Norris does the same thing with Spider-Bert. He's got to pop it back towards Norris. They're mucking around. Carey intercepts towards Blakey. He handles it like greased lightning. Kickett's got the tackle okay. Wills comes in over the top. And on North Melbourne's 50, the umpire comes in for a bounce.
You can't fault the enthusiasm of the Dockers. They've certainly jumped into the game. They've been inaccurate with a couple of their shots at goal. But certainly that body language and the whole enthusiasm of the contest, they're here with an urge to really have a crack at the game.
Umpires tonight are Mark Nash, Matthew Norden and Andrew Malcolm. This is Matthew Norden. Putting it down once more. Wills does the ruck work. Robert Scott tries to go through with the left foot. He's going nowhere with McManus over the top. There'll be another bounce.
I'm watching John Longmire. He's pushing Daniel Parker up towards the centre of the ground from half forward. Right, John. Bounce on the 50 then. The attacking 50 for North. Rock on the ground. Scholl is off. Tapped down by Hewitt. Crashing the pack Dodd. Very promising youngster. Gets it to Kickett, who boots it up towards the wing. Daniel comes of his own volition and takes the mark in front of Longmire, and the crowd have been watching that. Big roar. Bandy has it now. 25 metres closer to goal. Daniel Bandy up towards right half forward. Waterhouse into space. Waterhouse 60 metres from goal. Precision work by the Fremantle Dockers. Members side. Now Waterhouse unloads, centering kick. Clement stays off the congestion. The mark is held by Mann. Well, Clement stayed down. It was 2-on-1 initially, and I think the fact he stayed out of it caused some indecision as far as the defenders were concerned. And Mann has marked only 15 metres out.
And that's the kind of marking power you hope the Dockers can get from Mann. Just the ability, the one-on-one contest, just the slight pressure from behind to push McCartney under the ball, but the umpire allowed the strong mark.
Hickey was watching Clement. Now he's watching Mann kick at goal and slot it.
Yes, well, certainly this is a good contest. Very, very early in the game. We know that North are going to be tough at the contest, and any side that plays against North has to match them there, and I think the Dockers have come out very keen to do that. Certainly they've looked very lively in the forward line. They've been able to set up 2 or 3 set shots at goal, and that's a very good sign for the Dockers for Peter Mann to just stand strong and mark the ball.
Peter Mann celebrates his 100th game with the first goal for his side against his old side. Callaghan out of the middle, but the ball is smothered. Here comes Peter Bell now, ripping North Melbourne down towards centre half forward. McKernan goes to ground. Harding is there to defend. Gets it away towards McGovern. Has a look and then kicks towards McManus. Had it spent a little too early. Kickett is there to lend assistance, and Bond is running the boundary line. Smothered and well smothered. Throw in on centre wing.
That's
He's in everything, Winston.
It's the matchup, isn't it, in the North forward line. They got the height and marking power, but the Dockers have got better ground level speed, and when the ball comes to the ground and they start running it up, it's really going to take a lot of pressure from the North midfielder so that the Dockers just can't keep running.
Bandy and Capuano, and one's been plucked out of there to go to Matthew Capuano. On centre wing. Again looks down towards Archer. Harding is right there with him. McGovern again to tidy up towards Kickett. Hangs on to it for a long time and just tries to shove Harvey out of the way. Gets the effective tackle. Bandy did a bit of shoving too. And it was noticed. No doubt about it. Abraham's having a spell. Parker couldn't mark. Bell did well to go in and get it, bring it out towards Hewitt, and the teenager kicks towards goal. But he's well away to the left. In fact, does not score out of bounds on the foot.
I think Winston's come off to get his tyres deflated.
Yes, I think he's coming to the ground pretty keen to show the Dockers whatever they thought of him, he's going to make sure he's going to play strong.
Archer, well done by Archer, shrugged the Harding tackle. Good smother by McGovern, and good recovery by McGovern. Sneaks away from Bell, goes to the outer side. Carey now leads in the race, hoping to keep it in that area or push it down into the scoring zone. And the champ does well from 50 metres after a bounce. Sets sail for home, but goes across the face of goal. And one behind only because young Hewitt couldn't quite get there in time. 6.5 minutes and just a point.
And I mentioned this situation, the way North are trying to float Carey forward, and Gale is the player that will come out of the Dockers defence to take Carey and just allow Burton really to play against young Hewitt, who is a pretty agile big fella. So a lot of tactical changes going on very early in the game.
McGovern.
Boy, he would have been a step outside the square, wouldn't he, when he kicked that?
Probably clear a bounce. He's put it out of bounds on the floor without being touched. You name it, everything was wrong there. Bell's got the ball just outside the 50. Centering kick. O'Reilly. Safe hands. Stephen O'Reilly. Down all week. Goes wide to the boundary line and Bandy. The top of Bell, as you'd expect. So Bandy, left half back. Interesting start to this game. The Dockers lead it by a point. Bandy prods it up towards the wing. Waterhouse bounces off his chest. Carey, who showed great balance just moments ago, kicks to nobody in particular. Bandy lost it. McGovern, well worked. This is Wills, deep in his own defensive area. Spider takes the mark. Kickett is breaking for him. Lures the man. Goes by Blakey and kicks it up towards the wing. He used Kickett as a decoy. Up was Parker, couldn't hang on. Allison, quick hands away. This is Rock, forward of half back, comes out wide. Grant. Overshadowed in the Schwass trade, but averaging 18 possessions a game so far this season.
Winston's back on, Ben.
There's Wills.
He does use the interchange, Dennis Pagan. He'll continue to use it. And he plays on and off all day.
Wills from half back. Kicks wide towards centre wing, too wide. 5 minutes left in this first term.
You just put a pin in the bell, don't you?
Just for a while. I think they were 36, they're now down to about 28 those tyres. Gale gets the hand pass. Now here's Callaghan going back towards the centre. No mark taken. Abraham quickly gets it away towards Longmire. He tumbles a punt in towards half forward. Allison does what he does best, and that's good roving. Blakey gives it away to Bell. Peter Bell snaps in towards goal, but there's no one home, and Bond marks on the last line of defence. Wobbly old punt kick could bring it undone though. Brings it back towards the half-back line. Hewitt does well. He's 52 metres out. Century kick, the idea was right, but Harding chips in to take the mark. Here's Spider Burton sprinting down the wing. Has a look downfield and kicks to no one. But Longmire may keep them in the game. Failed to take the mark, but he did well to paddle it out to Stevens. Good recovery by the big man. Stevens a little worm burner. Almost put his teammate in Harvey under pressure, so he goes again. Kick is wide, and the kick is out of bounds for Anthony Stevens. Down to the boundary line, and right there is Adrian Marriage.
Sandy, yes, it's like a chessboard. You need a chessboard down here to work out these moves. Lee, I don't know how long this is going to take, but there are more moves going on than I've ever seen in the first 10 minutes of a game, and the rotations are incredible.
Knowing Dennis Bacon, Adrian, they'll continue for the whole game. He does change them very often.
Bonds kick to centre wing. Wills sees it ricochet away. Did this bounce inside the line, or was it out on the full?
Well, the camera tells the story. It was inside, wasn't it?
Got it.
Although we can't trust video anymore, remember that.
Right. McManus taken out by Scott. Wills hand pass to Callaghan, puts him under the pump once again. Bandy caught, almost throws it out. No one will take it for the Dockers, so it's Capuano. Picks it up, but Spider is there. Ever alert, gets the lightning hand pass away. Parker and the Dockers are clear.
Shane Parker goes wide. This is Dodd, just forward at the wing for the Fremantle Dockers, who lead by a point. Low scoring affair, 3.5 minutes to quarter time, and Bandy runs hard, presents himself.
Well, that's the danger of having Capuano back on Bandy, because even though they're similar size, I think Bandy's a fair bit more agile as a forward, and if the ball gets down there, then Bandy's ability to run away from Capuano could be costly for North.
Daniel Bandy, just inside the 50. Gets underneath it. I think he's missed. He has. Behind. So the Dockers out by 2 points now, approaching quarter time. Bandy's been busy. 5 kicks from 4 marks. Little kangaroo. Joey. Glad you recognised him. Pickett comes away and kicks it up towards the wing. Juggling it. Burton almost. Fletcher arrives across the body. Floats near the boundary line, out of bounds on the full.
He's really come a comer, Pickett. He's really played the last 4 games, only played 1 game prior to that, but has been a very well balanced.
Oh, too much taken out of those tyres for Winston. Loses it. Fletcher kicks the Dockers back inside the scoring zone. Mickey Martin takes on a couple and then almost threw it out. Abraham will go again. He's got to beat 2 or 3. Lays an almost late tackle. Martin heads towards the boundary line, and McCartney is quite happy to see it sail over. Dockers by 2 points in a tight opening quarter here at the Wacker. Great night for football.
Well, now I think Curry might have gone to centre-half forward. I think they've been breaking down their forward line North, so yeah, the skipper's back in that position where he's really made his name.
Wills with strength to McManus. Floating kick across the face. Martin and Clement jostle. The umpire sees that ball sail over the top for a throw-in in the left forward pocket. Just a couple of minutes remaining in this first quarter. Man from behind, just trying to flick it. Longmire is there. McCartney also gains probably 20 metres as he pushes it to the half-back flank boundary zone.
Third game back from injury, Dennis, and Corey McKernan again started in the forward line. One would think he must be just about ready to have a run in the ruck and see if he can really get some impetus in the game in midfield.
I think so.
Longmire, short. Pickett loses it. Danger here. Callaghan in towards full forward. Bandy is lurking. Martin does well to shovel it out. They're not out of it yet. Callaghan a step, and he goes for the Dockers. Craig Callaghan gets his first, and he gets the Dockers second. They open up an 8-point lead.
Yeah, good little player, Craig Callaghan. Again, when Clement came forward for the mark, Certainly the Sylvanis and the Martins, they test the umpiring because it's always a close body-on-body contact. Could have been a free kick to Clement. The play-on was called. And then Callahan, front of the pack, didn't have much time, but was good enough to get it through with his left foot, a very talented young player.
Goals are rare tonight, only 3 of them, very near to quarter time. 2-4 to 1-2, Rucks go at it. Capuano slaps it down. Allison hurriedly on his knees. The mark is held by Hewitt, plays on immediately, lays it off. This is Harvey, smothered off the boot though. The pressure good from the Dockers. Wills, an inspired player at the moment, forward of half-back. He kicks it out towards the wing. Brilliantly galloped there by Dodd. Beautiful trap, gives it to Gale. Gale goes short and finds Callahan. Callahan just forward of the wing, out his side. His side up 16 to 8. Just over a minute till quarter time.
And Longby's been interchanged. He's coming off the field. I think North need to try and get his maximum speed on the ground in this early stage as they can.
Waterhouse. There was a thumping kick just outside the 50. Marking the Callahan kick. Play off the call. Rock got him. Had time to get it off to Wills. Wills off his step. It wanders down towards full forward. Loose ball at the back of the pack. He'll be back first. Kickett is there. I think Kickett has kicked a miraculous goal. Oh, wow. Oh.
Well, there was a bit of excitement in that ball. The ball went over the back of the North defence, and it was just a flat-out sprint to see who could get there first, and somehow or other Kickett just found the half-yard. Let's have a look at this. Couldn't quite get, just pushes Allison off the line of the ball, just enough to have it sit up, and the kick through for a goal. That made a goal out of the half chance. Fremantle jumped into this game really aggressive.
Big goal for Mr. Kickett. Closing seconds of this first term, and a big goal for the Dockers. Harvey takes it out of the middle. North may have time to answer as Rock marks between centre wing and half forward. Floating kick up towards the 50. McKernan is the target, and Corey's got the mark. He'll have a shot with 21 seconds on the clock.
Well, that was a fair extension, wasn't it, when that kick came in, and McKernan was able to leap and mark it full stretch. Have a look how high up he's marking the ball. That is a long, long way up. O'Reilly's got no chance of being able to jump from the back position to reach that high to spoil.
From almost directly in front. And from 47 metres. Kick looks pretty good for Corey McKernan and North Melbourne. So right on the siren, McKernan gets his 6th goal for the season, his first for the night. And a steadying one for North Melbourne after that Dale Kickett extravaganza.
And a really very good game. This is a very fast ground, the WAC. You see it all the time. They play helter-skelter over here, and this is a quick game, and the Dockers are certainly doing just as well, if not better for speed. They've been able to hold the North forward line and be able to run the ball forward, create more shots at goal, and really are just certainly matching the North hardness of the contest, which is probably the hallmark of the North Melbourne game.
So at quarter time, it's the home side with the ascendancy. Fremantle 3-4-22, leading North Melbourne 2-2-14.
Now from the WACA, the second term, as the Dockers do battle with the Roos.
And it certainly is a good battle, Craig. Thank you very much. At quarter time, it's the Dockers 3-4-22 with Mann, Kickett and Callahan goaling for the home side. Glenn Archer and Corey McKernan for North Melbourne. So at quarter time, the margin is 8 points. Rip-roaring game here at the WACA. And wherever you may be viewing it, I hope you're enjoying it, including those dressed informally. The 2 on my right, but they're enjoying it as well. So too is where the jackets are. So too is Adrian Barrage on the boundary line. Adrian.
I certainly am enjoying the game, Sandy, but I'm a bit confused, got a bit of a headache, because that quarter, both sides made 6 interchanges each, that's 12, plus about 20 moves each, so that makes about 40, so I don't know how Lee's going up there. Pagan just saying, stay with them, their pace is enormous. That's the big problem, their pace. They're trying to upset them with all these moves, and from Neesham's point of view, he says, just back yourself in, we've got nothing to lose, boys, let's just have a crack.
Thanks, Adrian. So Dennis Pagan and his team start the long trek back up to the coach's box, which is right in front of our commentary position here at the WACA. But here we go. Second quarter, tight first term. Goals hard to come by. The Dockers this time kicking to the left. Capuano goes the thump over Spider. Burton Kickett's in the middle. Gets out of the Abraham tackle but loses it to Harvey. North Melbourne goes surging forward, down towards full forward. McKernan tried to use the body to no avail. The Callaghan hand pass is interesting. Archer might make him pay, but he can't bend it back far enough.
What's amazing, Des, I was just thinking then, we've got the guy who we think's the best centre-half forward ever probably playing centre-half back, and McKernan, I think, is probably the most dynamic ruckman in the game, playing at full forward. It's a strange setup. North have been winning with that setup, of course, but assuming they're all fit and well, one would just have to ask the question.
We've got to rethink it, Lee. Short one comes into Bond. Deep in the back pocket. Chris Bond taking plenty of time. Valuable acquisition. Goes for distance now. Long kick towards half back. Bandy was up in front. Abraham slick hands away. Stevens from about 55 metres out. Long towards the kickoff line. Scholl goes back. The crumbs come to Archer. Archer snaps and gets a goal. His second.
Yes, we could just see Glenn Archer setting himself for the third up marking attempt, but good play by his Dockers opponent, Harding, just to sort of just put the body on him so he couldn't jump. But when the ball fell at his feet, he's had the composure just to take that one step to settle. Second goal to Glenn Archer, so the move of him into the forward line, he's at the moment North's most dangerous forward.
2 goals to Glenn Archer, and North pick them back. Now just 1 point in it as Capuano tries to win it out of the centre. Wills had a very exciting first term. He goes again down towards Waterhouse and Bandy. The latter tries to tap it clear. Abraham tries to soccer it away. Gets it back towards the centre. In fact, it was Pickett. Burton out of the air. From a standing start, pumps it high back towards half forward. Blakey almost took a sensational one-hander, but recovered well. Kicker twists out of trouble, turns, gives it away, beautifully done towards Durkay. Durkay sets sail for home and slams it into the woodwork.
It's a well-balanced player though, Durkay. Then he had the opportunity, he tacked the 50-metre line. Could only just get to the 50-metre line, but it was a lovely kick. It looked like it was going through, but just that natural hook that tends to accompany many long kicks. Curved it into the goalpost.
Pickett bounces his way out of fullback. First one direction, then the next. Sneaks away from Clement. Goes to the outer side, and despite the man attention, McCartney takes them. Jason McCartney looking up towards centre wing. Burton will come over the back. Big man was there, but he couldn't take the mark. Hewitt does well for North Melbourne. Gets clear, then looks down towards half forward. They all come charging out. McKernan a little too far. O'Reilly leaves it for his teammate Parker, and he is away.
Does well, gets it to Kickett. He's made a wonderful return. Goes to Burton. Durkay has it now forward of the wing. Kickett is running hard alongside him. Durkay doesn't require him from 55 metres out. Going back is Clement. It's wide of the mark.
Well, he's backing himself, Durkay, isn't he, Dennis? He's taken off. They are quick over the ground, Fremantle, and they're going to really get North just chasing behinds unless North can start getting their hands on the ball and maintaining possessions a little better.
Martin out of defence then. Last kick out of bounds on the full, wide towards the outer side. Burton was up to knock it down. Callaghan battles with Bell, and across the line it goes. Heath Black looking on. What's your feeling at the moment, Heath? How do you see it?
There's a lot of space out there for the players to run into. I think just those 2 kicks from Dirks, if you had drilled them, it would have really got the boys pumping. That's what he's there for, to kick goals.
Carey kicks it up towards the wing. Loose ball at the back. McGovern is first back for the Dockers. They lead by 2 points. McGovern comes across the ground. Bond had to go, and he did remarkably well. Let it off to Harding. Harding on the burst of Fletcher. Fletcher goes back inside. It's sticky in there. It's slippery. Gale did well. Feeds it wide. Harding has run on. He's at half forward now. Goes looking for Clement. Almost. He leads back in the race. Clement deep in the pocket, trying to straighten up. It skews off the side of the boot. Wide for Waterhouse. Mistimed his jump. Bell didn't got it down to Blakey. Blakey was tugged off the kick, sliding in there. Durkay keeps it alive. Now Waterhouse over the ball. Still Waterhouse. Needs support now. Backhands the ball out. Carey a chance. Taken on by Bandy. Durkay goes in and claims Carey. And we'll have a ball up about 35 metres out.
They drew the ball up, but it was important. Waterhouse kept the ball alive in the forward 50. You don't want ball ups. North have eventually drawn it, but the Dockers players were keen to keep the ball running to try and just see if they could create a scoring opportunity.
Capuano again doing the ruck work and enables his side to push it wide to the outer side and force a throw in. Robert Scott now in the veteran class, 210 games, 210 goals. So a throw in on the outer side. Mann doing the work from behind. Stevens always deadly in the packs. Harvey's hand pass back towards Scott. Gets a hurried kick up towards the centre of the ground. O'Reilly at the back. Allison down in front. Grant caught, gets it away to McKernan. 53 metres out. Corey sends a booming punt in towards goal. Again hits the post and the goal umpire hits the deck.
Baddest goalpost in the league.
Well, and that's good goal umpiring, wasn't that goal umpire? He saw the players coming, but he kept his eye on the ball and saw it onto the post. Let's have a look at this. Bit of courage in football. Have a look what this goal umpire has to do. He has to stand his ground, knowing there's players coming, and he did the job well. But he gets some stick, the goal umpire, so good to get one right.
Here's Wills. He's on centre wing. Needs Fletcher. Gets the assistance from him. He just chips it up towards Dodd, who will go back and take the kick. He's almost down to the left half forward. Centering pass is okay. Finds Peter Mann. Gold early in the first quarter, but a long way out. Probably 60 metres at the moment. Good-looking kick will go into the square. Who's waiting down? McManus! Kick it at one end, McManus at the other. Gets his fourth goal of the season, his first for the night. 4-5, plays 3-4.
And the North Melbourne defenders failed to knock the ball through from behind. Those big, high kicks into the goal square. Have a look at this man, just never quite made the distance. It was a big pack of players flying for it, but McManus was the one that crumbing position directly in front of the pack. Ball fell into his hands and just a simple, really left foot snap. The ball must be forced through.
Real good game, this one. Margin 7 points, the Dockers lead. Up goes Bandy, won it decisively. Fletcher, Dodd tries to crash his way through. Fletcher, meantime, boots it inside the 50. Loose ball. Pickett put the body in, nicely done. It's socket off the deck towards the outer side by Scott. And across the line.
He's a body player, Pickett, isn't he? He relishes the body contact. He looks for it on the shepherd. He's just quite happy to be testing his physical strength against the opponents.
67th man taken in the 96 draft from Port Adelaide. He used to do in round 15 last season. Coming through his rock, hurriedly onto the boot. It wanders through the wing. Going back with great courage was Bandy. McKernan was bearing down. He was the target. Fell in short and Bandy stood his ground. Daniel Bandy, forward of half back. Half distance kick up towards half forward. Man running hard, takes the mark. Too far out to score, obviously. A kick from about 75 metres out. Centres the ball. Clement from behind, up he goes. Couldn't hang on. Wills storming through, needs a finish. And he's kicked it.
Well, Andrew Wills tonight, whatever the enthusiasm pills he's on, he's high tonight. There's no doubt about that. He's actually just running round, and that ability just took the ball out of it. He wanted it more, just had the momentum against Bell, I think it was. That's a terrific finish. Terrific morale boosting goal to make a 6-pointer out of a half chance.
Suddenly the Docker chant goes up here at the Wacker. It's 5-5 to 3-4. Inspirational stuff from Wills. They go down towards half forward once again. McCartney can't get an effective spoil. McManus almost throws it into the middle. Durkay is there under pressure. Mann also. Pickett soccers off the ground, but only as far as Kickett. Callahan caught. Back to Kickett again. Going round in circles, and he does exactly that. Peter Bell takes the mark. Plays on quickly to Anthony Rock. He comes wide to Stevens. Won't be able to keep it in play. Throw in. Forward of centre wing down to the boundary line. Right there is Adrian Barrage.
Sandy, this will be hard to believe, but it's about to come belting down here. The rain is about to come, and this will make it very, very slippery, particularly in that middle centre wicket area.
Wills does the ruck work. He's done just about everything else so far tonight.
Adrian, is that game as quick at ground level as it looks from up here?
He's checking the weather.
Checking the weather.
It's Shannon Grant. Well, let's hope it doesn't pour all night. There's just a passing shower and another throw.
Was that forecast? I'm trying to think.
No,
I don't think so. It was forecast, we're told.
Oh, well.
Chance of a shower.
Let's hope it spreads west.
I used to laugh at our weatherman too until he started laughing at me about footy tipping.
From the throw-in. Abraham gets the hand pass to Peter Bell. Through the middle. Oh, that's an excellent mark taken between centre and half forward by Hewitt.
He's improving rapidly all the time.
Yeah.
Hewitt looking a very talented player.
Short to Winston. Not short enough. Has backup support in the form of Scholl. He gives it away to Harvey, who bends it back. Oh, quite far enough. Shaved that. It's that fat post again.
That's the skinny part. That was
The skinny part of the fat post.
yes.
Another behind.
Stumpy post.
P5 plays 5-5. Great mark by Hewitt.
Beauty. Kick in. Parker. Bandy had it bounce off his chest. Harding is there to help out. Deep in his own defensive area. Gets it back to Bandy. Bit of luck involved there. Close to the boundary line. Was it out? Yes, it was. Rod sliding in there, marking the ball on his chest, but the boundary umpire in perfect position has called it out.
Lee, it's Adrian here, mate. Yes, just to answer your question, I went to get my umbrella, actually. Yes, it is very, very quick down here. As Wills takes an absolute screamer. They say speed kills at Fremantle, and they're really doing it at the moment.
I think it's Wheels kills. As the ball is up on the half-back line. Kickett gets a hand pass away. McGovern to half forward on the chest. There's a chance now. McManus, 75 metres out. Probing kick inside the Waterhouse. Huge leap. Rock, who sent it into the attacking zone last time, scrambles at about 15 metres in the defensive zone that time. Down goes McManus, holding the ball, says the umpire.
And he knows he made the mistake, McManus. He tried to break the first tackle. He probably had a chance, but he had to balance in one step. But he took on the tackler. Didn't get through.
Rock out of defence then, up towards the wing. Tailor-made for Carey. Up he goes. Coming off a season-high 12 marks last week. Has a best against the Dockers of 14 marks if you go back a couple of seasons. He kicks it down towards half forward, but the ball must come back to Wayne Carey.
Scholl coming off the North Melbourne. Carey goes short to centre wing and finds Shannon Grant. Centering kick, wanting Capuano and finding it. Between centre and half forward. North need a steadying goal. They're hard to find in this game tonight. Archer uses strength, and he's got plenty of that. Abraham on the outer side. Flicks it back in towards the centre once again. Bouncing ball. Who's it going to elude? Simpson tries to get it out towards Shannon Grant from a standing start. He's spoilt by Wills. Straight to McKernan. McKernan pumps it long and pumps it wide. Another behind. Under 11 minutes left in this first half.
Got more time than he thought, didn't he?
Yep. 3-6 plays 5-5. Parker will bring it back into play. Good contest here at the Wacker. If you've just joined us, I hope you can stay with us. It's a beauty. Wills has been one of the best so far on the ground. A wobbly old punt. Norrish gets caught, but tries to get it out to O'Reilly. Shannon Grant a little bit too much pace for him. Chipped by Scott in towards half forward. No one able to take the mark. McGovern defends. Short kick, not far enough. Could be costly. Hewitt from a standing start. Good looking kick by the youngster again. Spraying wide to the right. So North having a couple of opportunities that they should maybe have taken full advantage of. Mantis Bandy comes off. And he's replaced by another galloping hackback, despite a point. Parker to the outer side again, finds Hart.
Hard against the boundary line. Let's get the feeling that North Melbourne have turned it up a notch. The pressure in the last 5 minutes or so has been very good. Wills, the man who kicked it in. Was it Parker who kicked it in? Wills got it in the square anyway. Comes to Callaghan. Callaghan, he's at left half back. Feeds it inside. O'Reilly coming up towards the wing now. Steve O'Reilly kicks inside the 50. Waterhouse coming to meet it hard. Bounces off his chest. McCartney did nicely. Sweeping hand pass forward, taken by Grant. He's still inside this centre square. Goes with the left foot. Characteristic kick to half forward, and generally he's precise. No exception there. Rock's got it. About 60 metres from goal. Sets it up. Intended for Archer. Works off his man. And the mark to stand.
Well, that's giving an umpire a decision to make, isn't it? That ability when Archer just lent on Harding, just lent enough. Let's have a look. Is it a lean? Is it a push? No, I think it's just holding your line over the ball, but it makes it a tough call for the umpire in those body-on-body marking drills.
Going at his third right here. He shares the North Melbourne record at 6 for goals in a match against Fremantle. Wayne Carey has also bidded 6. Archer did it round 11.95. Off to a good start here. He's on that sort of pace, going at his third from about 30 metres out. I think he may have missed. He has. Behind. Margin is back to 9 points.
With 9 minutes left in this second quarter. Parker again. Bring it in.
They're just hemming them in, North Melbourne. They're just having trouble extricating the ball with any real penetration out of these defensive kick-ins.
Mark Gale takes that kick in. Still in the back pocket. Can look short to Callaghan, uses that play. Could have gone longer to O'Reilly. Now goes back again to Gale. Transfers play to the outer side. And whether that was a good idea remains to be seen, because Simpson has taken the mark and he's very keen to get on with the job. Centering kick in towards half forward. Shannon Grant with the one hand couldn't take it. McKernan twists out of the pack but loses the ball. Then goes again with some fancy footwork, as does Spider Burton. Capuano first to it. The big man will need support. Just picks it up and chips over the top, finding Peter Bell. Another player up against his old side tonight. Goes in towards Robert Scott. Quick recovery by Scott. Applied the tackle, stole the ball, kicks towards full forward, towards Archer, who's quick to recover. Simpson is there to provide a shepherd, but he can't get a go at him, and Gale defends. Wobbles a punt towards Bond. That takes it over the line. So we'll have a throw in on the outer side. Stuart Anderson, another one against his old side, still to get his chance tonight. This is Dodd to Mann, couldn't control it. It was touched over the line. So on the outer wing, in front of the Prindiville stand here at the Wacker Ground, a throw in to take place.
Mann and McCartney. Mann works in front. Sinclair tries to go through. McCartney in trouble now, stood up in the tackle, got the arms free. That was good enough. Harvey hard against the line, chips it around the corner, down towards half forward. Bond missed the mark, fought back strongly. But close quarters man goes back to Bond, and Bond decides to do the sensible thing and takes it across the line. So boundary throw in, down towards left half forward for North. They trail by 9 points, but at the moment they're looking good. Working their way on top, forcing the Dockers to make mistakes. Burton thumped it down. Dodd dragged down by Bell. It spills back into the congestion. Down goes Sinclair, taken front on Simpson.
And you see the ruck contest, Dennis, so it's hard to judge just the influence, but I think Burton's height in the ruck is troubling North Melbourne. He's getting his hands to the ball, it seems, at the majority of the boundary throw-ins and ball-ups. See about this one. It gives him the first impetus from the set play.
Line ball, we'll call it. Maybe Burton. Capuano tried to knock it away. Dodd. It bounces to Durkay. Durkay still going. Great toe, comes away. Hand passes towards the centre square. Now Sinclair's got the run of it. Sinclair from about 60 metres out puts it down towards Daniel Parker. There is Longmire to knock it forward, taken by Waterhouse, who tried to go back over the shoulder. Turns around and sockers, or tried to, towards goal. It was knocked towards the boundary. And across it goes. played by John Longmire, going back hard on Parker. Parker seemed to be in the best spot. 35 to 26, 6.5 minutes to half time. Longmire fists it down. Waterhouse grabs it, snaps, and gets a goal.
He's looked a lively player down there, Waterhouse. Hasn't really made the most of a few half chances, and that time he just is very quick and agile, very light on his feet, and that time the ball fell for him, just put it on the left boot across the body. And yes, North have had a good 5-minute patch, but Fremantle have answered the challenge.
Good goal to Clive Waterhouse. Fremantle 6. They lead 6-5 to 3-8. Crucial time now in this first half with just a few minutes remaining. North will be very keen to stay in touch. They go down towards the half-forward line. Brett Allison loves this situation. Roving off the pack. He should not miss. And they won't be happy with that, and nor will he. Into the open goal virtually, despite on the left foot.
Yes, that's the bread and butter for Brett Allison, to run onto the ball as it comes over the back of the marking contest around half forward. Read it okay, took possession well enough, but he probably just was close enough to the pair of players in front of him that he just didn't quite balance sufficiently.
From the kick in, it's O'Reilly coming from Shane Parker through the arms of Blakey. Martin does the shepherding and McCartney's there as well. It allows Blakey to run the circle, kick towards the flying Archer. Beaten for height there by Burton. Heavy body work by Grant, gets it out towards Bell. Well tackled by McManus. Bell goes again. Lovely hand pass to Shannon Grant. Grant goes for goal. Sensational play, North Melbourne.
He's a good finisher, Shannon Grant. When he has a chance in the 50-metre arc, he normally finishes. He's actually played a lot of this quarter on Andrew Wills, and Wills' pace and run off the wing has forced Dennis Pagan to give that assignment to Adam Simpson. Shifted a bit more towards half forward. Grant had the half chance and really didn't look like missing.
Dockers on top, Shannon Grant did some hard work leading up to the goal, and then the finish, of course, very precise, very slick, quality player. Anderson kicks it out wide. Clement leads in the race. It bounces towards the boundary line. Clement just inside the line. Blakey got him well across the line. What's the call there? Oh, gee whiz. That is a tough call. They had to be a couple of metres over the line.
Umpire ignored the boundary line, didn't he, really?
That's where the tackle was laid. Oh dear. Blakey takes the kick anyway. Burton got it down to Norrish. Across it comes to Durkay. Durkay, chip pass through the centre square, taken by Mann, lays it off to McGovern. McGovern goes out wide to Norrish. Running hard is Anderson. Norrish aware of that, but couldn't clear the man on the mark. Now he chips it out wide. Still men loose out there. Harding is one of them. Told to play on now. Harding in two minds, stepping back and going back. He kicks it down to Waterhouse. Clive Waterhouse. He is mercurial. There is something that sets this young man apart.
And I think it's his athletic talent, Dennis. He just can run and he can jump. He doesn't think his way through a game of football, I often think, but geez, he can do some special physical acts. And when he had the run, that was just a jump to the top of the pack.
Born in England, grew up playing soccer. Kicking at his second goal. Spectacular effort.
Yes, it was just a fantastic effort, and John Blakey then, the cardinal sin as a defender, didn't cover his opponent's body, just didn't quite have, well, I think Mickey Martin might have been picking him up at that point, but Blakey is his direct opponent. But have a look at this leap, it's a direct leap, no ride, no assistance, just jump that high. Fantastic athleticism.
Clive Waterhouse marking a la Mark Miranda last night. Sensational stuff. And you're seeing it all on 7 as Sinclair can't take it out of the middle. Bell gives it to Simpson. Now North need another one before half-time. Welsh tried to flick it on. Hewitt goes storming through. Back to Welch again. Finishes with Abraham. Goes in towards the pocket. A little too wide, may give Bell a chance if he's quick enough. Allison, the left footer, will centre it, but to no avail. Straight to Shane Parker, pushes over the head of Norris. He's got support there and finds it in Mann. 4 minutes remaining. Mann looks towards Spider-Burton at centre half back. Thought about the player going past for a moment. The Dockers full of running still. Looks long towards half forward. Up towards Parker. He couldn't take it. That's Daniel Parker. Now Fletcher. On the outer side. He spent a bit of time on the bench in this term. McManus could have got a shove. Players allowed to go on. Sinclair steals it. Gives it away. Dirk, a little chip for McManus. Couldn't quite take the diving mark. Simpson again defends for North Melbourne. To the outer side. They've got a run. Longmire. Hewitt. Harvey. All there for North Melbourne. Finishes with young Harvey. Goes up towards the 50. They need a big mark, but O'Reilly is there to spoil Carey. He may get a chance to go again. Pushes towards the line. Burton thought about Fletcher. Still thinks and eventually gives it to Sinclair. Puts him under the pump a bit. North will bring it back. Anthony Stevens long and low in towards Abraham. Couldn't take the mark. Allison was at the back. He couldn't take it either. Bond doing good work on him. Comes wide. They're going to get out of trouble. An excellent opportunity now for Anderson to go over the top, and he does to Durkee. Now he could go all the way here. 55 metres out. He set sail with a long bomb. Has he got the distance? Sensational. Well, that's what they wanted from him, and that's what they got.
Well, he's got to do it eventually. 3 times he's ran to the 50-metre mark, and eventually he's been able to actually kick the distance. Good shepherding in the goal square by Clement, but gee, they're exciting side, Fremantle. They're really dropping off North with their pace. I think Dennis Pagan, he has to get his ball winners and get their hands on the ball, but I just think he has to maximise his speed on the ground, because compared to that, the Dockers are just dropping them off.
Approaching half-time, and the Dockers slipping away now, out by 20 points. Hewitt was up, fisted forward by Scott, taken by Rock, kicks inside the 50 for North. They need a late goal. O'Reilly thumps it towards the boundary line. Allison leads in the race, traps it, trying to get it back to the advantage of Winston Abraham. It was slapped away by Harding. Grant didn't appear to have the ball. Norris gets it to Sinclair. Away come the Dockers again. The home fans loving this. Bickle bounce on the wing. Opportunity for Anderson, did brilliantly. That's twice now. If they had assist in Cookie, Anderson may have had 2 of them. Wills is trying to bend it back. No, he can't.
This is a fantastic attribute, that kind of pace. He looked over his shoulder and he saw Simpson was on the chase. But when Andrew Wills accelerates, you might need a speed of a Peter Matera to pick him up. He can really find a yard. Unfortunately, ran onto his left side. That wasn't such a good way. He actually, if he'd been able to straighten up onto his right foot, much better chance of kicking the goal.
So North have to be careful now in these closing minutes that the Dockers don't stretch this lead already out to 20 points and in danger of increasing, as Spider-Burton will put them deep into the attacking zone with under 2 minutes remaining. Centering kick is okay. He's got Waterhouse there. Oh, he had McManus there too. Mickey Martin is at the back and he just wants the boundary line. But he's found it on the full. So Wills plays on and he's pulled that fiercely. Well, maybe his tyres are a little too tight too at the moment. Might have to have a word with Winston. Let's check the old pressure gauge.
It's just the height, isn't it? Evan is a pretty tall man, the guy in front, Hewitt, but Burton is even taller.
Almost on centre wing. Wills trying to make amends. Harding there too, but it's taken over the line.
And McKernan off the ground, I think, on interchange at the moment as I look across the field, and I wonder if he is actually fully fit, Adrian.
Lee, he is fully fit. It was extraordinary. They had Corey McKernan, Glenn Archer and Craig Scholl all on the bench, and now they've only just put Archer and Scholl back on. Now Winston's been, so they're very worried about the pace of the Dockers.
Hewitt's kick goes straight to Norris. He goes back to McManus, who was taken high. Now he's got a minute left in this half.
North have got a hold here.
Yep. The Dockers just about off the leash. Waterhouse went a little early. but is very enthusiastic. Martin's kick only as far as Sinclair. It's a high ball. It's going to be close. What a goal! What a big goal at a crucial time, Lee Matthews.
Well, we've seen the Dockers in their few years in the competition produce this kind of football, particularly the Wacker here, occasionally at Subiaco, but their speed is just fantastic. Their speed and reaction. North have got the marking power, but it's not helping them because they're not marking the ball. Carey's now into centre-half forward, but really the game is being decided around the centre square, and if McKernan is fit, I cannot understand why he's not in the ruck.
42 seconds to half-time. Home fans on their feet. Jess Sinclair, inspirational goal. Over the top goes Hewitt, trying to crash through with Simpson. Simpson battles with Wills, gets the hand pass away. Norwich put the body in. Stevens falls to the ground. Anderson off his step, floats it inside the 50. Scholl worked out of it by Parker. And the defender kicks towards the outer side. Sinclair's got it again. Burton is breaking towards the outer side wing. Sinclair thinks about it. Not the option. Comes in short to Norwich. We're down to 15 seconds now. The Dockers 60, North Melbourne 33. Norwich the distance. Getting back McCartney, and that should do it for the opening half. What a half it's been. McCartney to Longmire. Pickett runs it out of defence. There's the siren for half-time. And the Dockers, coming off a great win at Waverley last week against Essendon, continuing that form at home. Clive Waterhouse thrilled us with that mark just before half-time. Peter Mann playing his 100th tonight. Burton has been very good, and Carey with a bit to consider here, like his North Melbourne teammates and coach. They tried to work back on top. It was one of those situations where they had a good 5 minutes, really applied pressure to the Dockers, got little return, and suddenly the genie was uncorked, and the Dockers got those late goals.
Yes, they really need to win the ball around those pack situations, North, because when it becomes a chase, when the ball starts flowing, it's just Fremantle man for man, and as a group just are able to carry the ball, run that little bit quicker across the turf, and certainly a very impressive first half by the Fremantle Dockers. North got plenty of work to do.
And the Dockers waiting for everyone to join the group. They go off as one here at the Wacker to, I might add, a standing ovation, but we've still got a half left, and you're playing North Melbourne. Anything could happen at half-time. The Dockers are 9-6-60, North 4-9-33, all coming away on 7 on Saturday Night Football.
When you hear the sirens, well, you know the party's on. Rockin' AFL, we're gonna shake it to the ground.
Welcome back to the Wacker Ground here in Perth. Pretty good looking scoreboard if you're following the Dockers. They had a big second quarter, 6-2, and kept North Melbourne to 2-7. 9-6-60 the Dockers, leading North 4-9-33. 27-point margin here at the Wacker at half-time. Time now to find out all the news behind the football scene, and for that we go to the Sunday Herald Sun offices and their sporting editor, Scotty Palmer. Scotty, they'll be celebrating out at Victoria Park tonight, won't they?
Everything's happening down there. Sav Rocker came of age, according to Tony Shaw today, when he kicked those 7-4. And then Sav reveals that he and the other blokes have been under psychologists for a few days, Sandy.
They've been under psychologists?
Yes. Well, they've been under his treatment, yes.
Yes.
They're resetting goals for 98. Then Collingwood also disclosed that the boys had made a pact that they weren't going to finish the season early. They're going to make the finals, and they, of course, they missed the last 5. So they're right in there having a red-hot go.
And Scotty, I heard a rumour too that they've changed the musical instruments out there. They used to use the old 44-gallon drum and just belt a stick on it. What are they using now?
It's unbelievable. Collingwood had an orchestral quartet, violins and cellos playing today.
Do you think they would have understood any of it?
I wonder what happened to the loud horn and the bass drum, Sandy, that Collingwood used to play.
But how's Shorey? I mean, he must be wrapped there having a red-hot go.
Oh, very, very pleased. He said that the boys have made a personal conscious vote to really do well this season. He's going to have Paul Williams back next week with Gavin Brown, but he's got Anthony Rocker on a charging offence, so that could be a bit of a worry for him.
And what about Kevin Sheedy? Does he see improvement?
He did. He said from last week we saw improvement, but there's worse ahead for the Bombers, of course, because James Hird tried to train today and has broke down, aggravated his hamstring. They gave him an ultrasound. It didn't look too good. They deny it's a tear, but he could miss. He will miss next week against Footscray and possibly one or two others, Sandy.
Yeah, and that's a really big game too against the Bulldogs next week. What about John Northey? I believe he locked the side away for 50 minutes, still looking for their first win, and I guess there are rumblings about his position, but is he safe?
No fears about the job, Sandy. Chairman Noel Gordon said today he made an assurance that Northey wouldn't be replaced mid-season.
We have heard those before, Scotty.
We've heard those before, I know. And we've also heard from Noel today that there was no truth in the rumours that Swans champion Paul Roos had been sounded out for the coaching job next year.
But he does have his problems, doesn't he, injury-wise and also on report?
Oh,
John?
yes, he does have a lot of problems. He said, we're trying to find a solution among the lot of us today with a heart-to-heart talk after the match. But he said, I'd rather the players have an input as well as the coach picking out things to do. But he said, if this continues, it's going to be very tough for the Lions. Worst two, Michael Voss and Nick Trask both with concussion. Chris Johnson's got a broken bone in his hand, and Justin Lepage is on report.
Well, bad luck for them, but good luck to Kenny Judge and Hawthorn. Relief for Ken, but let us finish on a happy note. Have you got a story for us?
Well, they're celebrating, I tell you what, like nobody's business down at the old Vic Hotel in Port Fairy tonight.
Why, what's happened?
Ronnie Wearmouth, the great Collingwood champion, he had to close his pub for 28 days for licensing problems. But he opened the doors, Sandy, and it's like a Myer stock-taking sale down there. He said they were knocking at the doors trying to get in the Collingwood barricades.
I heard a whisper that you were down there.
I would have loved to be there tonight. Can you imagine little Ronnie behind the bar?
They'll be sitting back there watching it all on 7, mate.
That's true, Sandy. And just remember, boys down at the Vic, keep on punching,
Yeah,
fellas.
all right, well, I don't know about keep punching. Just enjoy themselves. See you,
Yeah,
Scotty.
exactly. See you,
Scotty
mate.
Palmer and the Sunday Herald Sun. Speaking of good publications, don't forget the Footy Record, available to you each and every week. Peter Dacos, the old Collingwood champ, looking back this week with some magical memories, and he's certainly provided plenty of those. Tim Watson is under the microscope, and the signing of the Schwatter, the favourite for the Brownlow medal at the moment, even though the season is still only a pup. It's all in there. The Footy Record out now, so go to it and get your very own. We're going to take a break here from the Wacker. The Dockers at the moment doing it well. If you've just tuned in, they lead North by 27 points. Half time here at the Wacker, still waiting on that rain that Adrian Barrich promised it was going to pour down. Looks perfectly clear outside at the moment. 9-6-60, Adrian's checking the weather. The North Melbourne are 4-9-33. Perhaps an opportune time to spend a few magical moments, a Mitsubishi moment, with the man who made number 29 famous at Punt Road, none other than KB.
Kevin Bartlett comes onto the ground for his 400th game of VFL football.
It was the record they said would never be broken. But in 1983, Kevin Bartlett became the first player to reach 400 games.
That is a remarkable achievement, and what greater tribute could Kevin Bartlett have than to see a crowd like that?
Getting through the banner was the toughest part of the game. Actually, they made it very, very strong. They had a lot of tape on it, but one of the things that actually happened to me as I went through the banner, to hold the whole thing up to support it, was a lump of 3 going along the bottom. And I hit that doing probably about 120 knots.
Hungary's lace-up jumper found its way back to the Bartlett household. Auctioned that night 15 years ago, it was tracked down and purchased by Kevin's son, Red. Kevin Bartlett, another Mitsubishi memorable moment.
I don't know that he was doing 120 knots, but it certainly was a magical Mitsubishi moment from Kevin Bartlett when he reached that marvellous milestone of 400 games. Well played, KB. Don't forget, of course, tomorrow the footy panel comes your way on 7. Rex Hunt and the entire crew. Just check your local guides for times. In Perth, it's 9 o'clock. 10:30 in Adelaide, half an hour later in Melbourne, and an hour later in Sydney. That is the footy panel. And looking ahead to Monday, this is an interesting duo actually to have on Talking Footy. Peter Schwab, the umpire's man, and the West Coast's captain and strongman Johnny Worsfold will be on the couch with Bruce, Mike and Lee. Once again, just check your local guides for details, but that should make for very, very interesting viewing and listening. The second half is about to get underway here at the Wacker. The Dockers leading by 27 points.
stride, emotions run way up high. If you work with that umpire.
The coaches have fired up their charges during half-time. Now third quarter action from the Wacker.
Yes, thank you, Craig. I'm sure they have fired them up at the long break with a scoreboard like that, especially in the visitors' rooms. Fremantle 9/6/60, North Melbourne 4/9/33. Just had a phone call from the local Channel 7 weatherman, Jeff Newman, who was very, very concerned that he could lose his job after the predictions of howling rain over the Wacker ground from our own Adrian Barrich. He's just rung again to say, don't worry, he'll hang on to the job. Barra, where is the rain?
Sandy, you've got me again, mate. Listen, as soon as I said that, the clouds just went away. I don't know what happened. Someone in the crowd mustn't have liked me because it was spitting. I'm telling you, I swear.
Face matches the microphone.
You never know, mate. Listen, there was a bit of spitting going on in the North Melbourne rooms too because Dennis Pagan was very fired up. I was outside the rooms and I could hear what he was saying. He wants something from his superstars, Corey McKernan, Wayne Carey, or Glenn Archer, and he's put a lot of onus on Winston Abraham to produce something because he hasn't fired a shot yet, coming back and getting a fiery welcome. Now, boys, I've got Heath Black with me too, who's been into the Dockers rooms. Actually, he didn't get in there. They're so focused they wouldn't let you in.
Yeah, definitely, Barrow. I was in one door and out the other. But what I could gather was if we can stay up on top in the midfield, we'll be going well in the next half.
And Jared's very big on the Anzac spirit, isn't he? Was he invoking that again?
Well, I didn't actually hear him at half-time, but I know for a fact he would have been definitely preaching it before the game.
That's important to him, and that's probably what you need. You need to ooze that. Your boys need to sort of live up to the Anzac spirit, and if you can do that, first 10 minutes, see out the storm, maybe?
Yeah, definitely. The North boys will come hard in the third quarter, and I think we know that.
Good on you, boys. And I'm telling you, the rain may still come, but it's
You hope.
I hope. Yeah. Thank you.
Dear. Thanks, Barra.
Thank you.
And Heath Black down on the boundary line. The young man who's overcoming a groin problem. He'll be out for another few weeks. There's Bond having his first game on this ground.
Carey and Abrahams have gone into the two North players in the forward 50. They're the two players that Dennis Pagan has turned to be the front prongs of their attack.
So here we go. The second half at the Wacker. The Dockers at the moment leading by 27 points. Certainly not an unassailable lead. First goals are very important though. Out of the middle, taken by Fletcher. Kicks down towards half forward. Chopped off by John Blakey. Has a look downfield. A break from half forward.
He can jump Welsh.
Excellent mark by Scotty Welsh.
Takes a mark of the year candidate most weeks.
Hewitt slow to pick himself after that, but he picked himself up, but he plays on. There's Welsh and finds Carey.
And there won't this be an emotional lift for North Melbourne if their captain can kick the first goal of the third quarter just to really lift their hopes that if they get the ball forward, then he will be able to do the finishing.
A quiet first half by his standards, just a couple of marks. But now he can kick his first and really pump up the ruse for a big second half. And he's done just that. So Carey gets his first. North get the start they want here at the Wacker. It is 5-9, playing 9-6.
Well, if North could get enough of the ball in the midfield, this contest between Carey and O'Reilly will probably go towards determining whether North Melbourne can get back into the game on the scoreboard. He's a good body player, O'Reilly, but he's had the iffy hamstrings. If Carey leads hard into space, we'll be interested to see whether he's got the pace and acceleration to stay with him.
Great start by North. The margin back to 21 points. Capuano wins it. He had to wait for it to come to him too. Anderson missed it off the deck. Kickett's in there. Wonderful first half by Kickett. 14 possessions, standing up, as you can see, when all others have fallen down. Empire wants it. Callahan also busy in the first two quarters. 14 possessions for Callahan. Like Kickett. So bounce, just the attacking side of the centre circle for North. Burton hooks it behind the pack. Stevens, his fifth possession. Harding, though, kicking towards half forward. Well done by McCartney to knock it away. picked up by Fletcher. It was charged down, but it spills across to McManus. Tried to thread that kick through to Sinclair. Didn't work, but eventually it comes to Sinclair, aided by a great McManus tackle. Sinclair's kick goes inside the 50. Blakey sends it out again. Stevens, he needs to lift. They need him firing, but under pressure, he's put it out of bounds on the full. Dockers free. There's the Dockers bench.
Only had 4 possessions in the first half, Anthony Stevens. 2 kicks, 2 handballs, so they need him to start getting his hands on the ball, North Melbourne, to create that drive.
Wills from the wing down towards the attacking 50. Waterhouse, who took a spectacular mark in the first half. Sinclair was taken high. That was pretty crude. Sinclair will get the free.
Long way out. Wants to get on with the job quickly. Sees the lead downfield and goes with it. Good use of the body, and there was nothing Mickey Martin could do.
That was good play. Clement had the acceleration to run into the space here, but he knew he was going to get there early, pushed back hard into Martin, and he just looks like Martin will be much, much stronger, but Clement just pushed his body back in, kept his balance, and a really good chest mark from the front position. That is a very, very good mark from a difficult contest.
But still looking for his first goal for the night. Should get it here, directly in front, kicking from 35 metres. Clement just pops it over the top of the goal umpire and he's kicked it. Quick reply by the Dockers.
Well, there's not too many players can outbody Mick Martin, and he certainly had the front position where he could dictate the contest, Clement, but he was still able to hold his ground, and really Archer's over-aggression. He didn't need to do that, Archer. He came in third man in. Pickett had Sinclair claimed, and giving away that free kick, Dennis Pagan wouldn't be too happy with his vice-captain, Glenn Archer, with that incident.
Goal for goal to open this second half. Of course, North can't afford to do that. 10-6, 5-9. They trail. Burton and Capuano. Burton taps it down this time. Dodd overran it. Nicely done by Bell. Concedes some ground. Back to Blakey. Blakey inside the centre square. Goes long once more. Gale was up. Free ball at the back. Coming up to mid at Abraham. He was dragged down. Hitting it hard and snapping towards goal down there. It was Welsh. Oh, anti-climax. Behind.
We see here Parker not wanting to pick the ball up. The time clock in the umpire's head basically starts when the fullback picks the ball up a certain amount of time to kick the ball.
Has to be deadly accurate for Kickett, and he is. Flicks it out the back and almost caught Spider unawares. Now he's got Mann running with him, and he's got Dodd. Looks towards right half forward. Suddenly the Dockers go deep into their attacking zone, down towards Sinclair and co. Waterhouse. Clive goes for a centering pass in towards Clement. He gets caught. Goes for the kick. Perhaps the hand pass was there. Durkay and Fletcher drift into the pocket. Durkay on a tight angle. Eludes one. Gets the kick. No one else at home, and Robert Scott comes away. Spiralling a puck towards the half-back flank, finding Peter Bell. Good mark.
It's been a good contest between Bell and Callaghan. Bell's been high possession winner for North, but Callaghan's been very good for the Dockers as well.
Peter Bell looks towards centre wing. Hewitt has been exciting. Gets the hand pass away now. Chance for North again, deep into that attacking zone. Welsh applies the tackle on to Parker. They're not out of it yet. Nice little turn by Bond, however. His kick is going to drop short, and North may get another opportunity. The mark is not paid to Hewitt. Gee. Well, he gets up and no doubt will ask the question why.
Was the mark not paid, or did the umpire thought he played on or something?
Was it touch?
That looked an obvious one. Obvious mark. No. Well, maybe, I'm not sure what happened then. Maybe the mark wasn't paid. Maybe the player tried to play on.
No real remonstrating, though, from the youngster. Nonetheless, play goes on. Down towards Abraham in that forward line. They need something from him, but they don't get it here because O'Reilly gives it away to Kickett, and he in turn looks down towards Wills. What a live wire has Andrew Wills been. Gets on with the job quickly. Smooth delivery. In towards Waterhouse. One grab. Oh, not quite enough. Rock. Almost a high tackle. They pounce upon it. Archer chips away back towards McCartney. He's not out of trouble yet. Mann's got him. Slings him away from the ball. But he manages to get the hand pass away. A tired kick goes towards the boundary line and over on centre wing.
Corey McKernan on the bench, Lee.
Yes, that still amazes me. If he's fit and well, you would have thought his impetus in the ruck would have been used at this point.
Amazing bench when you look at it, isn't it? Shoal and Harvey. Longmire was there.
And Shoal is one of the players who might be one of the main goalkeepers. But the North Achilles heel is they can be a bit slow around the midfield, and certainly tonight the Dockers are exploiting that fact.
Here's Brodie Anderson from centre wing, taking the free kick, kicking in towards half forward. O'Reilly had Carey covered. No one's got Shannon Grant. He uses the right foot to kick in towards goal. Here's trouble now. Callaghan applies the tackle. Bell sneaks out the back door, but there's been a whistle, and there'll be a bounce.
Fred Callaghan having plenty to say. Mark Nash unmoved. Welsh goes over the top. Callaghan crashes into his back. Not a call. About 15 metres out from goal. Winston dragged down. Rock's got it now. Plenty of company. Abraham comes again. Dragged off it. It goes straight up in the air. Parker, that's ambitious to claim a mark. It must be play on. Spills back towards Grant. He was met solidly by Bond. It's a loose ball. It's a hard ball. And the umpire calls for it. North need to make a move here. Shannon Grant slowly to his feet. 26 points the margin. Burton, Allison hard against the line, gets it around the corner. Hewitt snaps, and I think he's got the goal. He has.
Yes, he found himself clear close to goal then, Hewitt. It was a bit of luck. Good play by Allison just to get the ball running forward, but Hewitt had just sneaked into space on his own close to goal, so pretty loose defence there by Mark Gale, who is the direct opponent at this point of Hewitt.
North Melbourne again closed the gap with Eamon Hewitt getting his first goal. It's back to a 20-point margin. Spider Burton back in the middle. Height advantage over Capuano, has a good charge at him. Bell is gang tackled and is going nowhere. Daniel Bandy, Norrish and Co. on the bench. The Dockers. Another bounce in the middle. Same two big men. It's Fletcher who takes it from Burton. Pickett defends for North Melbourne. Heads to the outer side. Shannon Grant made good ground. Has a look down towards half forward. Goes over the top of Bell. Wants Captain Carey, but he's got it. Capuano and Hewitt screaming for it, but he elects to go into the pocket. Anthony Stevens is there as Abraham is off and McKernan comes on. Stevens.
Going to be a tough shot, but important ball.
Spears a worm burner into Hewitt. Has improved the angle and lessened the distance. Well, a big kick this one if he can get it back to 14 points.
Only his sixth game of league football, Hewitt, but I must say I've been very impressed with his athleticism tonight for such a big fella, 194 centimetres, but his agility has been pretty impressive.
40 metres out. Drop punt has drifted across the face of goal. And one behind as the result.
And visiting his home state too, Hewitt, recruited from Subiaco, young ruckman, and has a good future.
Shane Parker kicking in now. Andrew McGovern started doing those duties. The third in the back pocket to Scott Chisholm, the artist formerly known as the Prince of Pockets. Watching this one from the grandstand as Parker goes straight down the middle. Off hands, half chance there in front for Dodd. They're knocking it about. It comes down to Carey. Laid it off nicely to Rock. Across it comes to McCartney. McCartney off his step. It bounces down towards the pocket. Wills leads in the race. Bell is closing. Gets a shepherd from Parker, but across the boundary line it went.
Don't think there's much doubt that that's exactly what Wills wanted to do. He's looking at the boundary up by a bit in surprise, but it just looked to me like he just ran the ball over the boundary line and curved round to kick it back into play, keep the options open. Maybe just a bit stiff when you watch it on replay.
Boundary throw in, right full forward for North. 66 to 47. 11 minutes remaining in this third term. Burton, the backhander. Will stood up in the tackle. Got it to Fletcher. They're not afraid to use Big Burton. It comes across to Dodd. The hurried kick goes around the outer side. Helping the ball on its way was Callaghan. Leading back in the race now, this is McCartney. McCartney steps off his man on the wing. Sends play back towards half forward. Burton is backing back. Will's third in the queue. If nothing else, Burton was a diversion there. And Wills has taken this mark. Told to play on to McGovern. McGovern across the goal face. Good enough. Gale has it now. The Dockers using the ball nicely, precisely. This is Harding. It's the hand pass on. O'Reilly run down from behind. Brilliantly gathered by Kickett, but it's come unglued. Socked away by Carey, who chased all the way up the ground. Well done. And out of bounds it goes on the wing, and O'Reilly's hurt. Steve O'Reilly was claimed there, and he doesn't look well.
Throw in. Still virtually on centre wing. Capuano claimed by Sinclair and Kickett. Robert Scott is at the bottom. And umpire Mark Nash takes charge. Let's have a look at O'Reilly again, see what happened. He got chased down. No doubt injured in the fall. Still on centre wing. Capuano. Burton. No one decisive. Durko. Back to Spider. Burton again. Look out, Dodd. Over the top to Waterhouse. Clives an excitement machine. He gives it to Chris Bond. Bond charges towards goal and slams it through.
Experience.
Bondi gets his first. The Dockers get a steadier 11-6, 6-11.
And that was really good, strong running then by Bond. He was going forward with the flow of play here. Quick hands all along. Look at this acceleration by Waterhouse. He dropped off the north defence. Just a little stumble by Bond, but the composure to find his balance and kick accurately. And Northman coming, so that's a very important goal for Fremantle.
Bit of a skirmish after the goal. Piece has been restored. Great balance by Bond. Kept his head, was stumbling, settled and kicked the goal. Dodd slaps it out of there. Fletcher comes away from the centre circle this time. Floats it down towards half forward. Blakey goes back. Good concentration. Takes the mark. Comes to Stevens. Anderson on for the short one. Stevens thinks about it. Now very indecisive over the head of Anderson. Parker, the hand pass, too slick for Dodd. It bounces across to McGovern. McGovern, that's an interesting kick too. Doing well was Grant. He sensed what was coming and slipped in between Kickett and the man who was kicking the ball. As a result, North come forward. Carey had it knocked away down there by Daniel Parker. Getting his head down was Hewitt. Must get a pretty kick. Going in rather recklessly was Sinclair. And Hewitt, who has played very well, like Burton, has done some good things at ground level. Wilson will take the kick.
We saw Sinclair against Worsfold a couple of weeks ago. I don't think he knows how to live with bump, to be honest. And it was a high tackle. Because he doesn't really bunch himself up to deliver the contact. Sinclair, it's aggression at the contest, but not really a great protection and just the old tucking the arm in and putting the shoulder down.
Hewitt off the ground under the blood rule, no controversy there, so Allison will take the kick for him. Allison, about 55 metres from goal. Haven't seen a lot of him. A golden opportunity earlier in the game and missed from about 25 metres out. Chips it to Carey, nicely done. Almost demanding the lead that time, and Carey timing his run, getting the ball within scoring range. Much the same shot as he had to open this term.
I think Allison was looking for him from that set kick. Carey was opposed to Parker, gave Parker a shove just to create the space, and then just ran into the hole and good enough to mark the ball from the half chance.
Side down by 25 points. Wayne Carey tugs it left. Uncharacteristically missed by a long way. Still, North get closer.
Stevens also having a spell. North bench. Parker will bring it back into play. Short to Kickett. Alone at half back. Sweeps it wide to Harding, almost as good as a kick. Oh, Gale spears one in towards Fletcher.
the Fletcher-Stevens drill been a mile in Fletcher's favour, and Stevens on interchange now, but I think Dennis Pagan is looking to get run in the midfield, but I don't think he quite knows where it's going to come from. There's none of his real burst players are in the game.
Brodie Anderson kicks towards half forward. The big blast from Kickett. Well, we've seen a couple of mighty flies tonight. Kickett plays on to O'Reilly. Sneaks away from Scholl and goes across the ground to Bandy. Still virtually tucked in the back pocket, though. Now looks towards the centre wing. Bond just edges his opponent underneath the ball, then pushes it forward. Gains a good 25-30 metres. Have a look at this league.
It's a fantastic grab. None like that, but yeah, the third man up, second grab brought it down. He's backing himself tonight, Dale Kickett, and could have been a Cadbury Mark of the Year candidate, that one.
Sinclair bursts clear, looks up towards the forward line, towards Clement and co, but backing into the pack is Glenn Archer. He steadies it down. They need some steadying at the moment. He's got Brodie Anderson between half-back and centre wing. Anderson, a floating punt kick in towards the middle of the ground. Intercepted by McKernan. They need him in the game. He gives it away to Shannon Grant. Looks down towards the forward line, towards Carey and co. They come charging at him. Harding was one of them. Pushed wide by Parker towards the boundary line. Carey won't keep it in play. The Dockers hanging on at the moment. 72 plays 48. From the throw-in, McKernan down to Rock. Around the body he goes. McGovern is at the back, spilled the mark. Bell's right on his hammer. McGovern concedes it and timed it perfectly. Oh dear, he was lucky, but he got there. So a vital 6.5 minutes left in this term, and North Melbourne knocking on the door, but at the moment unable to get in.
He's using his 22 players, Jared Newsom, keeping the speed, keeping interchanging players, so really there's not too many of his players who are going to play the full 4 quarters, so they could be kept fresh.
Gale goes to Dodd, right on the 50, the defensive 50. 23 points the margin, the Dockers lead. Dodd close to the line. Wills does very well. Good mark. He's taken a couple now. Not noted for his overhead work. Just over 6 minutes till 3/4 time. Wills stretching every sinew there. Again, hugs the boundary line. McCartney reaches over the top of man and thumps it away, so it'll be tossed in right on the wing. That's the time remaining and the margin. Fremantle so quick, fleet of foot tonight, causing a lot of problems for North. And settled their team balance as well, because North have been preoccupied by the Dockers' speed. Pickett over the ball. But one side in this situation you would not bet against is North Melbourne. They keep on grinding it out. Ball up. Mann and McCartney. McCartney appear to be held. The base of the packet, Scott floats it down, but only as far as McGovern. Andrew McGovern across half back, chips it out wide. This is Harding, decides to run it out now, kicking down towards the attacking 50. Fletcher going back. He's a very good aerialist, Fletcher, for a man of his size. He's coming up for his 20th possession. As I said earlier in the game, averaging 26 so far in the season. And I'm sure the Brisbane Lions would be thinking about the one that got away. Adrian Fletcher just complementing the work rate of this team. He and Bond, very valuable acquisitions. A study in concentration. Can he get the distance? They'll put it close. They'll contest about 5 metres out, going back with courage. Longmire spilt it. Made amends. Allison's off the ground. Abraham waiting to come back on. Heath, you must be thinking now that those 4 points quite attainable.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think we've weathered the storm at this stage, and we've just got to maintain the pressure and the intensity on North Melbourne, and hopefully we can come home with a win, but it's far from over.
Dara put you up to that line about weathering the storm, didn't he?
yeah, he's given me a good one there. Good tip.
Good. Wills. Oh, twisting, turning, dodging and weaving. He finds O'Reilly, who's got to do the same. He appears to be okay. Kicks long in towards the forward line. Big pack of players. Fletcher and Sinclair both waiting down. Clement also, but he runs into a brick wall.
when they lock it up at centre-half
There
forward.
were some desperate players in that contest, wasn't there? The North defence were under siege then. It was just a question. They could not let Fremantle extricate the ball, and they drew the ball up.
Crucial, 4 minutes remaining. Straight up and down. McCartney will defend. Height advantage over Callaghan. He comes towards Archer, but Waterhouse intercepts, and Clive looks round to see Glenn Archer with his hands on his hips, saying, "Oh my hat."
But it was still the speed. Have a look at this. It wasn't a good kick. It certainly set Archer up, but Waterhouse really had that incredible speed to get there and really take a pretty easy interception as Fletcher is brought off to have a bit of a rest. As I said, Jared Gleeson has just rotated his ground level players to keep the maximum speed and freshness amongst his group.
Stuart Anderson back on. Waterhouse booted 2 in the second term, and Clive, baby, has added to it. He's booted 3. Catch us now, say the Dockers.
Yes, well, we see the scoreboard, 12-7 to 6-13. North just aren't scoring quickly enough or efficiently enough, and that's that turnover, not being able to run the ball out of their defence. And have a look at this, McCartney, he had to get the ball outside Archer. It had to be boundary side. But once it come inboard, the Fremantle players swarmed onto it, and Waterhouse got there first. Bad defensive error.
19 scoring shots apiece, but that sort of analysis flatters North Melbourne. Fremantle in control of this game at the moment. Bandy is up, beaten by Longmire. Dodd got it across to Sinclair to kick it. He shovels it out wide. Now Anderson just on the ground. Anderson kicking it down towards half forward. Wide of Bandy though, and Pickett will take the mark on his chest. Pickett, left half back. North bench again. Looking on, helpless. Harding works off his marker. Winston Abraham and takes an easy defensive mark. He's on the wing. Goes across the ground. That's ambitious, but Bandy strong hands in that contest.
And Longmire in the ruck now. Dennis and McKernan back to interchange. Someone has to ask the question, just why has McKernan not been given a run in the ruck?
Used very briefly as the kick into attack, but drifting across in front McCartney.
I don't think he's been in the ruck at all. Certainly hasn't contested a centre square knockout. He's just played as a forward all night, which, I mean, in the way the game is going, it's so obvious that you need to try and get someone else in there.
The defender's playing kick to kick at the moment. McCartney to O'Reilly. O'Reilly right on the wing. And the Dockers lead it by 30 points. Sinclair bobbing up in space. Now towards half forward. Anderson is on. Anderson will mark this one just outside the 50. Parker runs for him. Anderson holds it up. 61 games for North. His 41st. He played in the grand final team. He's had a couple of important touches tonight. Chips in short, demanding a lead of man, but McCartney read it best. He hasn't been the worst of the North players tonight, McCartney back there.
From the back pocket, he looks up towards the centre wing. Towards Carey. He was a big flyer with Hewitt. Unable to take it. He gets it out towards Simpson, who drifts it back in towards the centre. Grant has it fisted away from him. Waiting down was Robert Scott. McGovern charges at the ball across half-back. Gets the hand pass away towards Gale. He floats it over the top to Harding. The Dockers are out of trouble once again. Harding comes wide towards centre wing. Anderson, fresh legs back on the ground. Runs away from his former teammate and captain in Carey. Through the arms of Sinclair. He may get another chance. Pickett runs it out of defence with dash. He has one bounce. Chips up towards the half-forward line. Floating little kick. Kickett came over the top. Couldn't take the mark. North fortuitously still have it. And with a chance to score is Shannon Grant. That's what they want close to siren time. Grant gets his second. He booted 1 in the second term. North Melbourne hangs on by a thread.
Yes, they're just hanging in there, North, just within enough goals to think that if they could get a surge going, they could win the game. But in general play, as Dennis said, and most of these shots have been a long way out. They haven't missed any sitters, North, but they're going to have to kick goals from a long way out. Just tonight, they're marking forwards, just aren't able to mark the ball.
Shannon Grant has booted 2 goals. He's all class. There's our scoreline. 40 seconds till three-quarter time. Can North grab another late goal? Simpson crashes through. Longmire gets it across to Stevens. Stevens off a step again inside the 50. Carey kept out of the contest. Falling to the ground. Welsh did brilliantly. Grant goes in, and what's he done? I think he's got another one. His third. Oh, great start.
Don't write them off.
Well, the way the ball got across to him, I think, was probably a little questionable. As Welsh came out to meet the ball from that centre bounce. I'm sure we'll have a look at it here. Let's see how the ball got from Welsh. He threw it across. That's how it got there. And the umpire just didn't quite see it. All happened so quickly. I don't think it was a knock on. I think that was a throw.
Well, Shannon Grant has just turned 21, but he's booted 3 goals tonight so far, 2 telling ones in the last couple of minutes, and North setting it up for a final burst in the 4th quarter. Seconds ticking down now. Have the Dockers got time to answer at least once? Stevens keeps it in play. Quiet night early. They'll be looking for a big finish from Anthony. Hewitt chips it on towards Anderson, kicks back in towards the middle. Sinclair is claimed, loses the ball as the siren sounds here at the Wacker. And North are still there, don't worry about that. With 3 goals to Shannon Grant, 2 of them in that term, 1 from Wayne Carey and 1 from Evan Hewitt in that quarter. Fremantle, on the other hand, restricted to 3. 3 goals, 1. Their goals coming from Chris Bond. Clive Waterhouse has 3 for the match. He only booted 1 in that term, but nevertheless, they still hold the advantage lead.
Well, certainly they were just hanging on North Melbourne until the last minute, and then that 2 goals in the last minute of the 3rd quarter. So they've drawn back to only an 18-point margin now, so the game is still open in the balance. With a minute to go in the 3rd quarter, North were really up against it. I think the last goal of Grant's was a little bit fortunate. I think Welsh, I don't think he knocked it, I don't think he scooped it, I think he threw it across. But the umpire didn't see it and the goal was paid.
So here we go on Saturday night football. Don't leave the lounge yet. Fremantle at 12-7-79. North Melbourne are coming at them. 8-13-61.
It's the all-important final term. Fremantle and North under lights from the WACA ground in Perth.
Promised to be a beauty too, Craig. Great atmosphere here at the Wacker. North Melbourne coming back late in that 3rd term with a couple of telling goals to hang on, down by 27 points at half-time. Now at the final change, just down by 18 points.
7 Sports hope you're enjoying this match in the 1998 Coca-Cola AFL Premiership season.
Both camps breaking up here at the Wacker, set for the final term. Jared Neesham having a few final words. Let's go down to the man who now we know as the Rain Man, Adrian Barrett.
Sandy, yes, the Rain Man has to plug this book for North Melbourne. Actually, the North story, 136 years of a fighting club. And, mate, that's what they're going to do now. They reckon they're going to fight this game out. They just want to have a crack. Dennis Pagan has given them one of the great bakes I've heard in recent times. I've got Heath Black with me again. Blackie, your blokes, what's the plan, you reckon? Don't relax?
No, definitely not relax. Keep the intensity up and just go hard at it. And if you do that, hopefully we can win.
Are you sort of surprised at how quick your team is?
No, I reckon we're pretty quick, and I know a lot of the AFL teams out there know that now, so it's going to be hard to match up on us.
The crowd's really getting into it, boys. Should be a great last quarter.
Yes, as we said, thanks, Adrian. A fantastic atmosphere here at the Wacker. So here we go, an 18-point margin favouring the Dockers. And Dennis Pagan really did rip into them at 3/4 time. Wills and co have done extremely well. Here's Andrew Wills again, out of the middle to Burton, on to Fletcher. Adrian Fletcher goes round the body. High floater, and showing courage was Byron Pickett. Stood his ground, comes wide to the flank. Anthony Stevens is there. Swings onto the left foot, pumps it long and high and wide towards Winston Abraham. It's got to sit for him because Bond will just take it over the line. Showing plenty of experience is Chris Bond. Just 3 straight kicks in it. One stage the Dockers led by well over 30 points. And still McKernan on the bench. Rock, high centering kick.
And the mark taken at half forward by Hewitt. Probably too far out to score. Needs something perhaps from Archer or Carey up forward. Use of the body by the champ. He's going to see him have a shot at the start of this final quarter. He did it also at the start of the third, was able to convert, and they certainly need it again here.
This is a fine line between just holding your ground, going for the ball, and actually illegal interference. Again, that's a line ball decision that the umpire has chose to overlook.
So this to make the margin 12 points. And a fight right to the end here at the Wacker tonight. Carey shoots towards goal, and he has kicked a very valuable one. He gets his second
goal. That was an amazing. We probably won't see it, but next to the man on the mark is Andrew Wills, and in the effort to try and take away Carey's concentration, as Carey came in to kick the goal, he just fell to the ground alongside the man on the mark. Funniest thing I've ever seen. Didn't affect Carey's concentration, and he'll be the man North are looking for to lift him to victory.
And so the final quarter has started as the third did. Wayne Carey getting that early goal. In goes Wills again, taken high was Rock. He'll get the free kick. Anthony Rock feeds it off to Abraham. Kicks it down towards half forward. Harding is there. Awkward half volley. Still he comes in the opposite direction is Bell. Got it across to Archer. Brilliantly done. Well controlled by Allison. Can he finish? I think he can. Goal.
Well, when you're behind at three-quarter time, you desperately need to get that first goal or two of the final quarter, and North have been able to achieve that. The centre bounce clearances, 2 centre bounce clearances they've got. Certainly the ability to draw the free kick. Just a bit unfortunate for Harding there. The quick kick forward landed his feet. And then how often do we see Allison running forward, receiving the hand pass? Good goal.
What a finish here at the Wacker. 2 quick goals to North Melbourne. Brett Allison. Bread and butter goal for him. That's what he loves. Stevens out of the middle, pushes wide. There's been a whistle, and it's going to come back. Brodie Anderson will take the kick.
2 free kicks against Fremantle. Very costly in those situations, aren't they? When the game's so tight, the centre bounce clearance again goes to North.
All of a sudden, just one straight kick in it to half forward. Man in front's got to be paid. He's not. Hewitt was there. Harding's in trouble. Floats the hand pass over the top to Spider. He remained cool and calm as he gave it to Wills. And away he goes, bursting through the centre. The Dockers now want an answering goal. They want a steadier. Pickett and Co will defend for North Melbourne. He comes wide, looking for Stevens. Durko's there for the Dockers, couldn't take it. Stevens has got good support in the form of Jason McCartney, and McCartney runs the wing. Centering kick in towards centre half forward. Carey! What a team lifter!
Don't know the crowd are booing. They're not so sure whether he came down with it. Let's have a look. He certainly got it on his chest. Yeah, he came down with it.
Got to pay that one.
Yep.
Sensational mark.
That is just grasping it out of nowhere, isn't it? Saying there's 4 or 5 players got their eyes on the ball, but this fella went at it harder than any of the others.
And this to level the scores here at the Wacker. Carey from 45 metres. Goal umpire does not move, scores a level.
Well, the 2 things have happened that North have needed. They've actually had 3 goals from 3 shots in this final term. But importantly, they've got centre bounce clearances. They've struggled there all night. Burton's been terrific in the ruck and getting first hands on the ball. But the North ground level crew at the moment, Bell, Stevens and Simpsons, they got in first and cleared the ball.
North suddenly inspired. 3 goals in 3 minutes. 2 of them from Wayne Carey. Play restarts. It's all square. Burton goes up. McManus carried forward. The ball held to him. This will have to be a ball up. Scott running him down from behind. Bounce just off that slippery centre square area. 79 apiece. Now, according to my reckoning, North have got the last 5 goals. Tapped down by Capuano, taken by Stevens, and they've come very quickly. Kick down towards half forward, McGovern behind the pack, slices it towards Bond, and Bond took a very good mark. That was terrific. Bond short, back to McGovern. Callaghan is breaking for him. We go short to kick it. Callaghan is onto the wing. In the middle is Norris. They worked it pretty well, those three. Norris is away. Runs through the centre square. Kicks inside the 50. Martin comes to meet it. Bumps it back towards the wing. Norris got a good side bump from Stevens. Took him out of the play. Capuano feeds it to Stevens. High kick towards the half-forward line for North. Fisted down in front by Parker. Taken by Kickett. Back towards Clement. Clement juggles the mark, but holds it effectively enough. Bandy is screaming into the 50 for him. Clement is back. Now Waterhouse makes his move. Clement goes in that direction. McCartney did pretty well to work his way in front of Waterhouse, and a free kick is going to be played ahead of that pair, and it's going to a Docker Sinclair, as Anderson was bearing down on him and took him from the front.
Yes, a bit too conscious, Anderson, of Sinclair on that occasion. I think Anderson thought initially it was going to be Waterhouse and McCartney contesting the mark, and he was setting himself for the crumbing position, but the ball fell into Sinclair's arms, and Anderson just hadn't positioned himself effectively to either take the mark or to initiate a spoil.
Drafted from the Eastern under-18s, he made his Victorian debut against North Melbourne in round 11 last season. Very important kick, this one. The crowd behind the goal like it. The entire stadium likes it. Sinclair's got 2.
Yes, it's a pulsating contest now. North have served it up at the start of this quarter, but I don't think the Dockers are shot by any means. I think they've still got plenty of run in their legs, and that was a little bit fortunate, that one. Just happened to fall for Sinclair, but under the pressure of the occasion, was able to kick it straight to goal.
One straight kick in it. Bandy doing the ruck work out of the middle. No effective kick. The Stevens one was smothered. Callaghan gets one down to half forward. A couple of Dockers, including Waterhouse and Wills, almost crash into each other. Gale couldn't take it on the half volley. Now receives it from Kickett under a little bit of pressure, thank you very much. Carey steals it, gives it to Brodie Anderson. Flat looking punt kick going down towards 50. Clean bowls a couple. They tidy up though. McGovern takes it from Bond. Across the ground to Harding, the juggler. He holds it up. They steady it down to Norris and remain cool. Still a long, long way to go in this final quarter. Norris towards centre wing, close to the line. Wills gets a touch. Waterhouse on all fours. Time eventually to pick himself up and go again. Parker's under the pump. Archer doing the strong work. Takes them on. And it finishes over the line with Jason McCartney. Well, Heath, North are coming at you. What do you think?
Yeah, a little bit nervous, but...
bit nervous?
Yeah. No, they're definitely fired up down here, the boys. We just need to find a couple of people to stand up and take control of the game, and I think we've got that. Actually, Clive's coming off with a blood ball here.
Interesting move by Jared Neeson to put Bandy in the ruck. I think Burton's been pretty dominant in the ruck contest, and a fresh ruckman's pretty mobile, Bandy, but I would have thought Burton is doing a fairly good job, so that's a pretty big call.
On centre wing. Bandy got a hand to it. Simpson for North Melbourne. Off to Blakey. Tumbles a punt from the left foot. Maybank's high. It does, over the top of Archer and co. He's got support in Carey. Carey keeps it in play. Needs something in the middle. Doesn't find it. He was looking for Hewitt initially. Here comes Shannon Grant, giving away a little ground towards Capuano. Durkay's got him. Norris at the bottom of the pack gets it out to Dodd. Wider to Gale. Heads towards the boundary line. And McManus might just keep it in. No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't.
Well, that was a tight ball, wasn't it? Where was it going to go from half forward? North almost created a shot at goal, but the Dockers were able to bring it out. This is a really tight contest.
I think they've mastered that lead. They walk along the line.
Absolutely.
Still on centre wing. Bandy front spot. Capuano from behind. Bandy again runs into Robert Scott at the front. The
Got back to Capuano, a rain man.
Sandy, it's pretty obvious with Clive Waterhouse, the blood drill and a hit in the nose. The ferocity at ground level is astonishing. I think this game's actually gone up a level.
Fremantle lead it by 6 points. Bandy goes after that one. Falls obligingly though for Scott. Scott hurriedly onto the boot, moves it to Bell. Bell has it forward at the wing to Stevens now on the run. Stevens probing kick towards Kerry, and why not? Could have almost been held. Almost took the mark as well. He butters up again, does the champ. Kerry about 55 metres out, pulls it back across the body. Yeah. And Grant has got it 20 metres out directly in front and a chance to level the scores.
See a bit of play at centre-half forward by Carey then. Almost drew the free kick, almost took the mark, but still just the agility for the big man to think his way through the pack situation. And I don't think he was actually aiming at Grant. I don't know whether he had eyes in the back of his head, but he kicked the ball to the front of the goal square. And Grant was running onto the ball. Grant and Carey have been terrific goal kickers tonight for the Kangaroos.
Grant going at his 4th goal, his 3rd of the second half, to tie it up. He won't miss. Scores it level.
Well, it's actually been interesting. The two best players who changed clubs, I would have thought, before this season were Shannon Grant, who came to the North Melbourne, and Wayne Swash, who was swapped and went to the Sydney Swans. And Swash has been fantastic, no doubt about that. But Shannon Grant has certainly not let North Melbourne down either. And tonight, 4th goal, and his ability to be a goal kicker in that forward 50, a fantastic string to his bow.
All locked up again here in the Wacker at 85 points apiece. Bandy and Capuano. Aries in the middle. Bandy goes again. Wills tries to flick it back into the centre. Bell can't get it out. Rock goes in for the assist. He could have been taken high, but the umpire says no. We'll have a bounce in front of 26,525 fans here tonight.
And the hardness in the midfield for North, as the pace maybe has just been blunted a little, the hardness and the ability to take the ball out of these midfield contests has been very good for North.
Costly miss by McCartney. Well, it may be, or it may not. Blakey gets ridden into the ground. Eventually gets it out the back door somehow. Callaghan shows courage. He goes again. Callaghan pushes it back towards the 50, towards Clive Waterhouse. A nice little turn. A long bomb. A mighty kick in towards goal! It's there!
Here's one of those freakish players, isn't he?
Waterhouse has got 4, and he's pumped.
Well, how was the backward step? He basically backed out of trouble here at half forward. Have a look at this. Grabs the ball and backwards. Just fantastic agility. Good long kick. Long line lunged at the last minute. But it was over the line. This is just an absolute great contest. Pulsating football happening at this game.
Anzac Day at the Wacker, what a clinker. Waterhouse has got 4. They're going blow for blow at the moment. 14-7, 12-13. Capuano and Bandy, who will touch it this time. Bandy knocks it down wide of the congestion. Taken by Bell hurriedly onto the right foot, down towards half forward. Stretching, McGovern takes the defensive mark. Andrew McGovern left half back. It was all or nothing that time. He was totally committed to trying to mark that ball. Had he fumbled, had he missed, Shannon Grant was waiting to pass. And even from that range would have been a chance for 5. So McGovern up towards the wing, and from the side Bandy will fly. Capuano worked out of it. Blakey is first back. God hard against him. The hand pass left behind by Rock. There was a trip in there. Now what will the umpire do? Certainly a free kick. And 50, that's automatic.
Yes, a trip by leg is an automatic 50-metre penalty. We don't see it all that often, do we?
You just wonder if the umpires will remember that.
Yes, yes, it's been so rare now. It's been a couple of years, I think, since I've seen that.
It's having a good time for the Dockers. And luck for Rock. Characteristic fumble, just left it behind.
I think he's have to report him as well.
Yep.
Which is happening. 50-metre penalty and a report.
Didn't want to say any of that, but obviously the umpire He's done what the rule says he must do. More importantly, Norwich has a chance to score. Side up by 6 points. Norwich goes for home. Not normally a long kick, but he's pulled something out of the box there. This first.
Well, yes, in such a tight game, it's a costly mistake, isn't it, to give away the free kick? Well, that's just unfortunate, really. You can't blame Anthony Rock. It's really just an instinctive lunge when a player is just about got clear. But once it's a 50-metre penalty, it is a gigantic penalty. And Norwich got full value from the distance he was awarded.
Will North Melbourne close the gap on Melbourne earlier in the season? And only to see Melbourne draw away again. Is the same thing going to happen here tonight? After drawing level, the Dockers again open up a very handy 12-point lead. Still plenty of time left, over 10 minutes. Bandy, Capuano, Bandy got a hand to it. Stevens, kick partly smothered. Harvey ripped to the ground after he booted it high to the outer side. Pickett and Sinclair give chase. Byron Pickett has it. Goes back over the top to Hewitt. Spent it prematurely. Assistance from Brady Anderson. A high ball. A rainmaker for Adrian Barrage. Forget it. Sinclair caught and going nowhere. Just in the attacking zone for North Melbourne. A mighty comeback started by Wayne Carey. 3 goals in 3 minutes to the Roos to start the quarter. And the Dockers, to their credit, have steady. Not over yet. Bouncing ball comes over the top. It suits McGovern beautifully. Picked up by Callahan. He kicks towards centre wing. Look at the pace of Wills. He closes in. But Simpson gets his kick. Well done by Wills, though, to force the pressure. Callahan's pass is okay to Anderson. He'll be enjoying this against his old side. Stewie Anderson puts them inside 50. Martin, Clement, Waterhouse, Mann, they're all there. Durkay too. And a whistle sounding, a free kick going the way of Anthony Rock. Ridgely at the scene where he gave away the 50. The Wills. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink, on he goes. Oh, great
He's got some balance, this guy. A player we haven't seen much prior to this year. He does some exceptional work back there. Look at that leap from the front position. Good, clean hands.
They come back behind the mark. Byron Pickett is at halfback. Norwich on the mark. 12 points in it. 2 straight kicks. So we're off again. Blakey goes to Stevens, and the left footer on the outer side will just swing it up towards the half-forward line. Carey and co. Archer in from the side. No mark taken. The hand pass is shot out wide. A chance for North now to spear it into the forward line. That's okay. Scholl takes the mark. Spent a lot of time on the bench tonight. But an opportunity now for Craig Scholl. He's booted 9 goals so far this season to bring the margin back to 1 straight.
First kick for the night. Late in the game, only had 1 handball to this point.
1 kick, 1 goal will suit North at this very minute. Off target, I think, 1 behind. It could be a point, though, that does have some importance come the final siren. Who knows? 97 blows 86.
Handy pointer. Yes. Parker kicks in towards the outer side. Well weighted kick to Bond. Takes the mark. There's a runner cruising past to his kick, and he chose not to give the hand pass off. Here's Bond. Half back. Kicks it out wide. Dodd has to wait. They're closing. Pickett did very well. Sinclair waiting in front. The hand pass more in hope than anything else. Blakey comes over the top, though, and thumps it across the line. Adrian?
Dennis, I'm a bit scared to tell you this, but it definitely is spitting at the moment. Heath is my witness. It's on my pad, and I don't know how heavy it'll get, but it is raining at the moment a little bit.
That old story. Wills is dragged down, and the whistle is gone. The umpire, I think, will ball it up. It's a quick whistle. Ball up on the outer side, just over 7 minutes to go. 87 to 86. The Dockers lead by 11 points. surprisingly. A few players feeling the pinch right here. Bandy goes up, knocks it down. Dodd helps it on its way. Going in solidly there was Harvey. Pickett, who's been very good. Looping hand pass. Anderson stood his ground. Now he throws it on the boot. Carey manhandled again. It was knocked away by O'Reilly. A lot going on in that contest. Archer gets it across from Harvey. He lofts it towards centre half forward. Bond in 2 minds whether to fly. Harding over the top, knocked it down. Rock gets the stumbles. Bond got Rock. The hand pass comes back to Scholl. Scholl being forced away from goal. Screws it around. Who'll commit to this one? Loose ball. Flies to the back of the pack. Callaghan gets the hand pass away. Now the Dockers will bring it out again. Will steady head in a crisis. Gets it across to Parker. And Parker's got it at half back. Kicks for space and Durkay. That's a lovely kick. Sends Durkay away. Falling to the ground to Sinclair. Can the young Victorian clinch it here? Sinclair smothered off the boot brilliantly by Longmire. And it ricochets out of bounds. Golden opportunity goes begging.
Well, that was cool play by Wills coming out of defence. The little left foot chip pass across the body back in towards the central corridor of the field. But it was a good enough execution of the skill to make it work.
11 points the margin, 6 minutes remaining. Man jostling and belting that ball down in front of the pack. Brett Harvey kicks towards centre wing. Runs out of room.
His touch, central umpire has indicated the kick was touched, so it will be a throw-in.
He'll be delighted with that. Gale won't be. Almost down to centre wing. The Dockers by 11 points. Bandy. Stevens. North goes surging forward towards Carey. Still on half forward now. Shannon Grant wants to get onto the left foot. He does. A centering kick is okay. They need a mark. Scholl was there. Kickett steals it off the top of his fingers. Puts it out wide. Blakey leads Addison in the chase. John Blakey, a veteran of over 250 games, swings around now. Spears it into Harvey in the middle. And Brett Harvey wants to get on with the job.
And Anthony Stevens has now had 19 possessions. He only had 4 at half-time, so certainly played the game out strongly.
Flat-looking punt goes up towards half-forward. Wills, they rip into him. But he holds up the footy.
His tackling tonight has been fantastic from both sides.
Oh, yes.
Been a great game.
They got a chance to tackle. They've been holding them tonight.
At half-forward for North, down by 11 points. Andy got a hand to it. Archer would have had the... Well, he's got the jumper being held. It plays on. Harvey gets crunched. Norwich in strongly towards the line it goes. They're tired and battered and bruised. 4:44 to go.
When Archer asked the umpire about the hold of the jumper, it was only about 3 or 4 seconds, I would reckon, so it wasn't
Unbelievable.
Fremantle by 11 points. Stevens didn't have the ball. Will's got him. And that will do. So the umpire's letting them play at the moment. Stevens popping the question. Awkward one for the umpire when that player is going back to the situation behind the ruckman at a boundary throw-in. Very hard for Mark Nash to see what was going on there. A lot of bodies between him and the player with the ball. This is Dodd, heads for the boundary line. And it runs across eventually. Dodd, what a revelation this young man is on the rookie squad. And so far would, I'm sure, be running in their top 3 or 4 in the club best and fairest. So a boundary throw-in as the Dockers are working towards their 3rd victory of the season. North, of course, with other ideas. Simpson brilliantly into the path of Blakey. Coming up to meet it, though, Man on his chest. Man who was reported and subsequently suspended last season against North Melbourne for charging, I think it was David King. Gets it across to O'Reilly. And the clock is running, so suddenly now the clock, consideration of North Melbourne. Dock is very conscious of time. Up towards the wing, that was Waterhouse, that identified flying object over the top. Down goes Pickett. This is Welsh. Welsh is away, told to play on. Back towards half forward. The one out so important now. Scholl was there with Harding. Arriving at the rate of knots was Archer. Knocked towards the boundary by a man, and across it goes. Heath Black has been a man in the outer. Heath, thanks very much. We'll sit the remaining, what is it, 3:21 out now. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Dennis. No problem, anytime.
On the outer side then. Will the Dockers just try and maintain control? North have got to make a couple of thrusts rapidly. Parker ricochets away. It was touched as it went over the line. There'll be another throw in. Wayne Carey has 3 goals. Clive Waterhouse, well, he would have picked up a fair few frequent flyer points tonight. That's all jump again, isn't it?
He has got a jump on him. Same as Pickett for North Melbourne. He's got an upward leap. Just fantastic.
North Melbourne free kick has been plucked out of that. It's gone the way of Abraham. Well, he came out onto this ground tonight as if there was literally no tomorrow. He took a bit of air out of his tyres. Can he finish in a blaze of glory? He wants a booming punt kick. He wants a goal. And he's given it an element attack and hit the woodwork. Big kick from there.
Fair try, wasn't it? It was a fair try. Just hook left with the extra exertion to kick the ball, which had to be a 60-metre carry.
2 straight kicks, and they're in front. O'Reilly, sensing the clock is ticking down. Back to Gale.
We know what's going on now.
Nervously. I find this exciting. McGovern. The thought of what could happen. Oh, it could happen. Welsh and Durkay. Welsh to Capuano. He's claimed. Loses it. Stevens and Bandy. Bandy, the big man, gets him. Locks it up in the middle. And coming in for the bounce is umpire Mark Nash with just over 2 minutes remaining. Very important tackles laid there as far as the Dockers are concerned. Well done by Bandy. And kick it. 2 minutes to go. Fremantle by 10 points. There's the bounce alongside the centre circle. A takeaway here is vital. Crashing through is Pickett. Stevens, look at him work. Bell hand passes to his own advantage. Picking the ball up was Morris. Laid it off to Callaghan. Callaghan bounces the ball out of bounds. The clock stops at 1:41. 97 to 87. And the Dockers.
Only a 10-point margin, but they look at a bit of control, the Dockers. They're not panicking. They know what they're doing. And they really are going to make this very hard for North to kick a couple of goals to win it in this next couple of minutes.
Picked up there by Capuano, feeds it off. Simpson dragged down, strong tackle. Callaghan, he loves that situation. Archer left it behind, critical. Gathering the ball now, Durkay. Long kick to centre half forward. Martin puts up the one hand, grabs it, kicks it. Bandy gathers it. Sweeping hand pass out wide. Callaghan, now it's Anderson. Anderson across the body, inside the 50. How will it bounce? Man, the backhand to the Dodd. Dodd, deep in the pocket, can pull it back. A little chip passes onto the middle. Ignores that, gets from the impossible angle, and he's hit the post. '98 plays 87. Capuano. Well, I just got to rip it down the other end now and hope for something. Scholl, Parker, the latter has almost had his head taken off. But they probably won't mind with the clock standing as it is at the moment. Precious seconds tick away and he plays on around Carey. Puts them inside 50 once again. Lomar, the spoiler, Clement at the back. Almost runs into the behind post. They will have a throw in the left forward pocket. It matters not. The Dockers are home. 30 seconds remaining. Deep in their attacking zone once more. Great win, Sandy, when you think back to Football Park a few weeks back. Yeah, that's for sure. Wills made sure that ball is going to stay in the air. So the Dockers now signalling their intention. Very impressive last week against the Bombers lead and going on with the job.
Yes, no, their ground level speed and their intensity and just their hardness in the contest is more than earned them the win.
Oh, look at that! Let's finish off with something unbelievable. And Willsie's done it in front of his coach. That is amazing. He's given it the Bialy swoon with the yes. Whoa. Oh, let's have a look at that about 10 times. Unbelievable.
How would we describe this, Sandy? The left foot, mid-air, kick off the ground with the outswing that's just avoided the goalpost. Have a look at this fantastic effort. Had nothing to lose, through the boat. Fantastic content. She's gone for the Dockers tonight. And he's pretty happy too, isn't he? Look at Jared Neesham.
Well, Jared Neesham's had his critics too. What a way to answer them. Essendon 1 week in Melbourne. North Melbourne, very much one of the benchmarks of the league the following week. Challenged, and they've pulled away. They've won like a very good side, the Dockers. 16-8 to 12-15. Full credit to North. They kept on coming, but eventually the finesse and a bit of luck has helped the Dockers over the line. Blakey back towards half-court. Awkward bouncing ball. The clock continues to run down. It's almost time now. This is Parker at centre-half back. Little chip. There's the siren. And fitting in many ways that Callahan finishes up with the ball. What a fine warrior he was. So much hard work tonight, but they all worked hard. And now the crowd is celebrating Anzac Day at the WACA ground. And Jared Neesham has got to be very proud of what his men have accomplished tonight. Adrian?
Yes, Dennis, Andrew Wills, the final goal hero there. Willsy, how does it feel, mate?
Oh, it's fantastic, mate. You know, we've never beaten North, and we've only won 2 in a row on a few occasions, so to beat Essendon North in a row is just fantastic.
Mate, this must be your greatest, the club's greatest ever win, surely.
Well, you know, it's easy to say that, but probably true. You know, we're pretty happy, and just got to go again next week against Port.
Willsy, have a listen to this crowd, have a listen to the cheering. The club's arrived, hasn't it? This is the turning point.
It sure beats losing, mate. We'll take this any day.
Well on you, mate. Go and celebrate. Fantastic game.
I think he's still in shock after that last goal.
24 possessions for Andrew Wills. He played a pretty good game.
Oh, yeah. He was like lightning in that first
I think he
half.
provided the magic.
Yeah.
I mean, really in the game. And Waterhouse was a little the same. But he didn't get high stats, Waterhouse. But Will's ability to just break up the play, as soon as he got the ball, for a while there in the middle of the game, Simpson just kept him out of it a little. But he's just that real outrageous flair, which was indicated and emphasised by that last goal. I think Will's ability was just indicative of the way Fremantle played the game. They worked hard, but that Will's life and enthusiasm was just fantastic.
In fact, that flair flickered throughout the team, didn't it? I mean, there was the kick and goal in the first quarter. It was unbelievable. Clive, well, he was off with the Pixies.
Yeah, those 3 players. But I must say, I did think it was set up by Burton in the ruck. I just thought his ruck work got the hands to the ball, got the ball flowing the Dockers' way. But the flair of Wills at one end, the kick it at the other end, and Waterhouse a few cameo efforts certainly earned the Dockers a really hard-fought victory.
So 2 in a row now to the Dockers, and they go down to salute their fans. North Melbourne has already left the arena. And what do you think, Lee? They were able to draw level with 3 goals early in that final term, and at that stage threatened to go on with the job.
Yeah.
Full credit to the Dockers to hold them off.
Well, absolutely. I mean, in the last bit of the game, the Dockers were the team that were really starting to surge. They played the last 5-10 minutes of the game stronger than North Melbourne did. North certainly jumped out of the blocks early in the last quarter and drew level. Well, that's when you've been leading all day. You have to find something. Fremantle, cheered on by their home crowd, were able to do it.
I think Barra made a very good point too. This could be the making of this club.
Yeah.
You just get the feeling now there's confidence on the rise, a lot of self-doubt. They share the city, of course, with the West Coast Eagles, but not the hearts and minds of the people in Perth. But tonight is a giant step for the Fremantle Dockers. They have made a statement here against a great team.
There's Clive Waterhouse
having some watermelon.
Well deserved too.
That's
4 goals to him.
That's a lovely looking platter as well. Not only watermelon, well presented. It's a restaurant down there.
Here you go. They're just having a bit of a gargle, tuning them up and ready for no doubt a rousing rendition of the club song after that very, very good 17-point win over North Melbourne. The big spider, and let's just relive Jared Neesham as that siren sounds. Oh, well, he was wrapped, and well done, Jared, and the coaching staff there. 17-point winners, the Dockers. We check the final score here at the WACA. 16-8, 104 North Melbourne. 12-15, 87. Final margin here at the WACA ground in Perth. 17 points in favour of the Fremantle Dockers. North challenged, Fremantle held on.
The 1998 AFL Premiership season brought to you by Telstra, making life easier. Victoria Bitter for a hard-earned thirst. Cadbury Mark of the Year. And McDonald's Family Restaurant.
Thank you, Craig. Yes, 27 points the margin at half-time. The Dockers certainly looking the goods then, but we know what North Melbourne does.
Yeah.
We knew they'd come back.
Well, they kept coming. Carey took a couple of terrific grabs there in the last quarter and they got level. But even then, I didn't sense that the Dockers were about to fade away or anything like that. And eventually, they were the side that just finished out the strongest.
Here's Hewitt.
Very impressive across half forward. Didn't do a lot, but what he did was very good for a guy who's only played 5 games of league football. I saw Spider Burton there. I just thought he was terrific. And Waterhouse, that ability just to take that first really quick step, very hard to nail. And Bond was the one who finished with the goal.
Are you still mystified by the use of North's big men?
Well, only the Corey McKernan. He just can't be fit. I mean, if he was fit enough or ready to play in the ruck, he would have had to have been given a chance in the ruck. But he played up forward and he played on interchange, which would indicate whatever fitness level he is, he's not thought to be fit enough to have a run in the ruck, even for a 5 or 10 minute burst. So it's a very strange situation, one that I think defies explanation.
The Carey performance tonight, I mean, obviously the start of that final quarter, just sensational.
Well, yeah, he did patches. I mean, he started centre-half back, didn't do a great deal there, went forward, and it was really only that last patch. He was okay. By his own standards, it was an average game, I guess. But if North had 18 of them, well, if Carey's, they would have probably won the game anyway. But and we see this situation here. This is when North were really surging, and Allison came in and finished, and all of a sudden, North were really starting to put the pressure on Fremantle. They went goal for a little while, but then eventually the last 5 minutes of the game, and have a look at this, the ability to back out of the pack and the big kick. I mean, you're 60 metres out, and that was a fantastic finishing effort. A couple of mercurial efforts in the last bit. Wills kicked that goal off the ground, and so they really finished in the end. Well, as usual, the opposition always have higher stats than North Melbourne. A lot more handballs to the Dockers, a few more kicks, tackles fairly even. The centre breaks even went North's way, and I think, and you have a look at those inside 50s, that's always a fair guide, and North went inside 66 times to Fremantle's 55. Indicative that the Dockers' defence really stood the challenge.
Okay, let's go down to their rooms. Craig Callaghan is with Adrian Barrage. Barra?
Yes, Andy, Callers, just a great win, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was magnificent against North Melbourne. You know, probably the yardstick of the late 90s. Anyway, you know, it's just fantastic to get the win on the board.
Mate, I said to Willsy out in the Oval, this must be your greatest ever win. I think he was still a bit stunned from that goal he kicked at the end there. Is this your greatest ever win, the club?
Well, the coach said it's probably one of our best, probably definitely in the top 2. And to play against North Melbourne like that is just magnificent.
Did it feel like you've arrived? Does it feel like the club's really get something going now?
We've got something going, but we've got a long way to go yet. This is just a yardstick sort of thing to get a pinnacle up to the top.
Now, your own form, mate, just burrowing in there at the bottom of the packs is just magnificent. And against good competition like Peter Bell and co.
Oh, exactly. I mean, they're the hardest team going around at the moment, and we've got to mix with it and hopefully get the ball out.
Now, they say speed kills at Fremantle. Man, you've got to be the quickest team in the league. That's a real advantage, isn't it?
Definitely. I mean, it showed last week against Essendon, we're quicker than them, except for me, but everyone else is quicker, and it's great.
And you went into this game not overawed either. That was the thing that blew me away. You've gone in there confident of winning, even though their star-studded side was stacked up beautifully against you. You thought, we can win this.
Exactly. I mean, Melbourne beat them at the MCG and we beat Melbourne, so, why not go in it pretty confident.
And, mate, finally, the Anzac spirit, did that have a bit to do with it?
Definitely. Listen to that bugle playing. It's just, heart-wrenching.
Good on you, mate. You embody the Anzac spirit. Have a great night. All the best.
Thank you.
Boys, from a very, very happy Dockers rooms, back to you.
Yes, thank you, Adrian. Speaking there with Craig Callaghan. A break from the WACA, more shortly.
Give me the game where the big men fly, the game that's played in overdrive, emotions run way up high. Give me a word from that umpire.
Skipper Peter Mann played his 100th game tonight here at the Wacker, and Barra, I reckon it's a game he won't forget for a long time.
Yeah, Sandy, you can say that again. That's one you won't, Sandy's just said that's one game you won't forget, your 100th game. What a win.
Yeah, it was fantastic. Obviously, there was a lot of emotion out on the ground today, and Anzac Day, and playing against my old club, and we just snuck home in the end, so it was a great effort by everyone concerned.
Well, who were your best players? I know it's always hard when you're out in the ground, but you had some fantastic performance today.
Yeah, I mean, I think our guys in the middle were the ones who probably won it for us in the end when it got pretty tight and they drew back to level. They sort of lifted a cog, and yeah, Andrew Wills and Callaghan's and Dodds lifted, and obviously Willsy finished off with, I suppose, knocking the ball out of bounds there once, saved us a bit of time, and then he kicked that miraculous goal. He's kicked one from there before against Geelong a few years ago, and I think that one was even better. So, I mean, all in all, it was a great effort. It was a great win.
It must be gratifying, though, because when the boys came in, just before they sang the song, everyone said, we did it for Hornet, which is you, obviously. I mean, that must feel good. Yeah, it does. I mean, it's been a pretty emotional week, I suppose. You know, there's a big build-up to a game like this, and then obviously with Anzac Day as well, and a lot of things going on. I'm just glad we got through it with a win, and it's over with, actually. Hornet relief is the word, I guess. What does it mean to the club, though, a win like this, from your point of view?
I mean, it's fantastic. Obviously, I mean, everyone knows that our pre-season was pretty ordinary, and we came in for a lot of criticism as a club and a few individuals, and I suppose it's good that we're 3-2. We've beaten Essendon and North Melbourne, who are two of the fancies for the Premiership at the end of the year, so things are looking reasonably good at the moment, and we've got some more players who are coming back, and our depth is good, so I suppose at the present you'd have to say we're pretty happy with the way things are going.
And you can set sail for the 8 with confidence.
I think it's a bit premature to start talking about the 8. I mean, that's one thing we've decided to try and focus on. I mean, sort of narrow it down to week by week. I know it sounds cliched, but it's the only things you can affect is what's coming up against you, so that's what we've tried to narrow it down to, and our performances are lifted as a result.
Good on you, mate. Spoken like a true captain. Sandy, that's 2 wins in a row for the Dockers. That hasn't happened a lot in the past. I think that's a significant feature. From the rooms, this time it's back to you finally.
Yes, thank you, Adrian, and big wins too as we check the ladder. Bearing in mind, of course, we've still got a number of sides still to play, but well, it's not very often that you see on the ladder the Fremantle side ahead of the West Coast Eagles. That's the way it stands at the moment. The Dockers in the 8, the West Coast Eagles out of it. Of course, still to come though, we have got 4 big games. Sydney take on the Western Bulldogs at the SCG. Adelaide plays Geelong. Melbourne plays Port Adelaide, and St Kilda and Carlton do battle at Waverley. Marvellous game here tonight, Lee Matthews. I know you've enjoyed it.
I have.
Ready for the red eye?
Absolutely. We'll get home and we'll watch the footy again tomorrow. There's more to go.
Sensational. For now, though, from the Wacker, good night to you all.
Give me the game, give me the game, give me the game I love. Yeah, give me the game I love. Give me the game I've been thinking of. Give me the game I love. Give me the game I've been thinking of. Give me the game where the big men fly. The game that's played in overdrive. Emotions run way up high. Give me a word with that umpire. Give me the game I love. Give me the game I love.
This has been a 7 Sports production.